Hey you! If you're enjoying Skyline REM and want to help make it happen, you can apply to join our backstage team in the description of this video. If you don't have the time or means, don't sweat it. Subscribe, leave a like, and enjoy the video instead.
What the hell? How did this happen?
Get out of my way!
Vincent, be careful! This can't be real, can it? Is this seriously happening?
They're gone. They're all gone!
Check again, damn it! That can't be possible!
We need to start searching!
Search where? They're gone!
Rex? Rex, help us out here! Rex!
Rex! Snap out of it, you moron! What's the matter with you? Huh?
Rex, it's okay. It's going to be okay.
Why? Why? Why, damn it! Why? Your entire body quakes. Why did he do this? Why? Your companions stare at you in shock as tears pour freely down your face. I saw his mind! I felt his emotions! I know he isn't evil! I swear he isn't evil! Your throat tears apart as you force the words from your stomach. He loves this city! He loves the Star Seekers! He would do anything for anyone, and he'd never think twice about it. It doesn't make sense. Your vision blurs as you stare at your shaking fists. Your fingers dig into your palms so hard they leave small red imprints. The rules say the bad guys are bad, and the good guys are good. So how could someone so good? You crumple to the floor. Do something so evil. Your friends watch as you hit the dusty cobblestones below you. You can't contain your emotions as you sob violently in the street. Spittle forms at the corners of your mouth as you relentlessly wail at the cruelty of it all. You feel a presence kneel at your side. Alice places a hand on your back. Rex, it's okay. It's going to be okay. Fixer, don't get caught up in the concepts of good and bad. Vincent speaks levelly as he crouches before you. If there's anyone that's good, it's you. Vincent's right. London agrees as she seats herself next to you. You would do anything for this city too. You've helped so many people and done so many good things. That's what matters in the end. It's not enough. You wipe your eyes as you croak. Arden was my friend. He's been there for me as long as I can remember. I can't. Your voice catches. I can't handle the betrayal. Hey, look at me, moron. Ellis turns your head so you stare directly at her. Her expression is deathly serious. We're your friends too. And we're not going anywhere. You won't be rid of me so easily, Rex, Vincent states with a soft chuckle. He places an awkward hand on your shoulder. We have your back. Through thick and thin, believe it or not. You'll never be alone, London coos into your ear. She hugs you tightly from the side. And we're gonna find the truth out. We'll get to the bottom of why this is happening. Together. Okay? Okay. You collect yourself as your friends help you to your feet. You stare at them as you push the sorrow out of your mind. Arden has the vestiges. And for whatever reason, he's going to do something with them. Now isn't the time to break down. Now is the time to act. As if they were reading your mind, your friend's expressions shift to become gravenly serious. So, Arden is a traitor, Vincent deduces. And for whatever reason, he's stolen the vestiges. We should find him, London decides. That's the first step to stopping him. How? Ellis questions. He stole the vestiges. He could be long gone as far as we know. Not exactly. They all turn to you as you speak up. You heave a deep breath. If Arden's anywhere we can find him, he'll be in only one place. Where? Where it all started. You turn and begin to briskly stride down the street outside your ruined home. Your friends follow without any hesitation. As you enter the room, you notice it's darker than normal. Every candle's been snuffed out except for one, the one being the only light that illuminates the man at the table. He gazes into the lone flame with his hands laced together in front of his mouth. His celestial cape has been removed and wadded into a heap on the table before him. You silently stand in the doorframe of the chamber as you stare at the man. His eyes slowly move up to meet yours. Hello, Rex. You can't quite tell what his expression is. Though if you had to guess, you'd call it resignation. He looks almost tired as he stares at you. He offers no other words as the dead air between you thickens. Tell me why. I just need an answer. He looks back down at the candle. I won't be able to give you the answer you want to hear. Give me one anyway. Arden sighs as he stares at the flickering flame. He pushes himself up from his seat and places his palms flat on the table. He leans against it for support as he continues to stare into empty space. When I first became the Valorant of Unity, I firmly believed there was a god that held our interests in her heart. A god that cared about her people. Maybe I always needed that to be the case. Because the only other explanation is that she simply permits all the suffering in the world to happen under her watchful gaze. His hands curl into fists. She stands by and watches as people die, despite having the power to prevent it. He pushes himself off the table and looks at you. But I refuse to believe that was the case. I felt deep within my heart that she must have a plan. That everything happened for a reason. That I'm still around for a reason. He shakes his head solemnly. I stayed true to those convictions. Until the awakening. There was no justification for all the horrible things that have happened. Assassins threaten lives. Cultists destroy towns. Thieves torment innocent civilians. Everywhere I turned, there was no divinity. No God watching out for these poor people. No grand scheme that had ever revealed itself. He gestures to the empty space. Look around you, Rex. Know I speak the truth. I know. Rex, I swear to you. He speaks softly. I have never lied to you. Not intentionally. I meant every action and every bit of guidance I ever offered you. And I promise, on my honor, that I never intended to harm anyone. It was not my intention to join the ranks of those harming our poor kingdom. He grimaces. Every horrible crisis made me ask myself, why hasn't she stepped in? And as they progressed and grew more and more terrible, all I'm left to wonder is why Unity still won't act. His teeth grind. Why is Unity doing nothing? So that's why, he concludes, I've done what I've done. Not because I want this kingdom to be destroyed, and not because I want people to get hurt, but because I know I'm the most powerful threat this city could face. And there is nothing stopping me! He looks up at the ceiling with tears in his eyes. This world must be a truly horrible, horrible place to permit a monster like me to exist. Arden, this has gone too far. You take several steps forward in concern. But it's not too late. We can stop this before it gets worse. We'll figure it all out, I promise. Just please work with me and let this end. You pause as he smiles at you. It's bittersweet. I wish that were possible, Rex. But it's a naive dream. I cannot stop. Not until Unity acts. Otherwise, everything I had done up to this point, all the terrible things I have done, would have been for nothing. He runs a hand through his hair as he laughs bitterly. I betrayed my friends. I betrayed you. I've hurt countless people, and for what? Nothing! Unless Unity proves she has some plan. Unless Unity acts. You don't! Yes, I do. Until Unity herself stops me. I have to press on. I'm the only one who could possibly force her hand. Then, and only then, would I finally know there's a reason behind all this madness. That there's a sense of cosmic justice. Some form of godly design. He lets his hands rest limp at his sides as he looks down. That there's a reason she's gone. And I'm still here. Do you want the truth behind the awakening, Rex? He turns back to you. It was always meant to happen. It was preordained. All this pain, all this chaos, it was destined to happen. How do you know that? You ask hoarsely. I saw it in my dreams. I don't know how to stop it, he resigns. But I know the vestiges of unity are responsible. The ancient relics of unity, granted destined power to sow the seeds of destruction. He removes his cloak from the table and throws it aside, revealing an ornate relic buried underneath. The relic is unlike anything you've ever seen. It's almost otherworldly. You watch in twisted awe as the object slowly lifts into the air and spins slowly, humming with celestial power. I learned the truth about these vestiges from a dream as well, Arden says. In the state you and your friends found them, they are dormant. But they, too, can be awakened. Just like this one. And in their awakened form, one could rival an ascended, he explains quietly. So, he extends a hand, and the vestige floats into his palm. He looks up at you with a cold expression. Here I stand. I kept this 12 vestige from the Silver Wings this whole time, while you collected the other 11. This vestige has the power to level a city. And I awoke it. Arden, no! You have to stop! The path you're on goes nowhere! It ends in destruction! Arden's jaw tightens. What'll happen to this city? To everyone inside of it? To our friends? To you? I don't care what happens to me, Arden ordained simply. You take a shocked step back. So long as Unity proves that she can and will save lives. That she can act. If that happens, then whatever becomes of me doesn't matter at all. You're the Valorant of Unity. Your fists clench as you plant a foot forward. You feel tears welling in your eyes once more. You're not acting like a hero, Arden. You're acting like a villain. Perhaps I am, he weakly accepts. Then, if I am the villain, what hero will stop me? You feel your blood rush through your veins as you reach for the sword at your side. Arden lowers his head in understanding. You match his gaze. You're not fighting alone, Rex, Alice dictates as her arms ignite. She takes her place at your side. Let's end this nightmare, Vincent declares as he readies his rapier and flanks you. For the sake of the city and our friends, London vows as she places a hand on her choker behind you. Let's end this, Arden. Shut! Come on! You're the Valorant of Unity! You can't do this! You have to stop now! Well, you still have the chance! If you don't, I'll have to stop you myself! Don't make me do that! What was that? Is that vestige? It's like it has wind powers or something! Jeez. You lunge forward to strike at Arden once more, but he anticipates your attack. He turns towards you with an enraged expression as you're suddenly thrown into the back wall by a gust of wind. The sheer force knocks your breath from your lungs, and causes your weapon to clatter to the floor. You look up in shock and terror. The force behind that vestige was unlike any you faced thus far. Is this the power of an awakened vestige? And if so, how can you fight it? Rex! London cries. Ellis turns to Arden with a vengeful glare. You'll pay for that, Arden! You watch as your friends ready their weapons and prepare to attack. You struggle to find the breath to speak. Wait, guys! Don't! Arden turns back to you after dispatching each of your friends. You meet his gaze as your blood slowly begins to boil once more. You're gonna regret hurting my friends, you growl through gritted teeth. For their sake, I hope you're right, he remarks coldly. The anger inside you rises to a breaking point as you charge forward, grabbing your sword off the ground as you sprint. You roar with fury as Arden lifts a spectral blade of his own to meet you. You're finished! You'll pay for that, Arden! I won't let you hurt my friends and get away with it! It's not too late, do you hear me? You can stop this now! This has gone out of hand, Arden! How many more people are you going to hurt? How many more of our friends? Our family? Come on! All the time that we spent together. Doesn't it mean anything? Doesn't this city mean anything? You're not getting away from me that easily! The vestige lets you fly? Fine! Doesn't matter! I'll take you down all the same! For the sake of my friends and for the sake of this city! Come on! Go down already! I'm not done yet! I'm not done! Come on! Keep fighting! Keep fighting! Rex! Don't you dare stop now! Pick your weapon back up! The fight isn't over yet. It's not over! Is this how you defeated Conrad? Or Esmeralda? Keep fighting! No. If not even you could stop me, then who could? She needs to act. She has to stop me. She's the only one who can. And I know how to make her. I just need to find the strength to do it. To become something worth stopping. Come on, Arden. You've come this far. See it to the end. Arden. Don't. Rex. Don't forgive me. I won't deserve it.
Arden. Wake up, sleepyhead.
What? Arden! Wake up, sleepyhead! You slowly push yourself up from the ground. It's wooden. What's going on? What happened? You look up as you watch a young woman caress a man's head lovingly as he begins to stir. 5 more minutes, he murmurs as he rolls over. All right, but then you have to get up. She giggles as she starts to stand and leave his side. However, as she does this, he turns again. He keeps his eyes clamped shut as he blindly tries to reach for the woman. Don't go. 5 more minutes with you, he pouts playfully. Okay, now you're being a little greedy, don't you think, mister? She teases him. Not at all. He opens one of his eyes to stare up at her with a smile. Our breakfast is going to get cold if we stay here too long. You drive a hard bargain. All right, then. He yawns and kicks the blankets off of himself. He sits up in bed and stretches his arms. You recognize these people. Arden gets out of bed to prepare for his day. The neighbors dropped off some fresh orange juice earlier, she tells him as he pulls his hair back into a ponytail. They wanted to thank you for helping them fix their well last week. It was no big deal, he replies as he pulls a white tunic over his head. It was to them, she says as she walks behind him and wraps her arms around his waist. Don't undersell yourself like that, alright? Alright, he tells her. As she leads him through the door of their bedroom, you clamber to your feet dizzily. The last thing you remember was piercing winds tearing through the air as your vision darkened. You look down at your hands, and your stomach sinks. Your hands fade in and out, as though you were a specter. Are you dead? You close your eyes and try to rouse back to consciousness, but you can't sense your body. It's almost as if you were somewhere else entirely. You're in Arden's memory, somehow. Not certain how this has happened, but it must have something to do with your occult powers, and the near-death experience you had moments before waking up in this dream. You turn your attention to the door as you overhear an audible chatter downstairs. You approach the door to follow the source of the noise. Well, one in Rome, I guess. They're downstairs. You descend the stairs to find a small living space at the bottom. The plates on the table are empty now, although you see trace remnants of food left on their surfaces. Next to the plates is a large glass jug of orange juice that's a quarter empty. You notice Arden standing next to his wife by a counter. He seems to be helping her wash some dishes in a small basin. He sighs as he looks out the window. I think that's my cue. Time to get to work. Do you have to? Why can't you stay here so I can have you all for myself? I'm yours. Always and forever. That will never change. He leans down, and the two of them kiss. You can't help but feel a small smile tug at the corner of your lips. Arden turns toward the front door and approaches it. He swings it open and takes a deep breath. Seems like it'll be a nice day today. Maybe you could give Marilyn a visit. I heard that she was feeling under the weather. We could give her and her husband some of those extra loose leaf tea we bought at the market for sore throats. That sounds lovely. I'm sure they'll appreciate that too. Almost on cue, you watch as she begins to cough violently. She readies herself on the counter as Arden quickly rushes to her side. She puts up a hand to stop him. She clears her throat. I'm fine. I'm fine. I think I'll make some of that tea for myself. He nods. That's a good idea. Please take care of yourself while I'm gone. I will. Go on. Those fields won't tend to themselves, His brow remains furrowed in concern, but he nods gently before turning toward the door. Right. I'll see you tonight, Eleanor. Eleonora. Did he go outside? Arden. Whoa. Whoa. He used to live in the countryside? Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. He's just farming. You watch for what feels like hours, as Arden works hard in the fields. He harvests crops and carries buckets of water back and forth from the well to water acres of fields. He chats with neighbors pleasantly and greets anyone who passes him on the main path. You've never seen him this happy. You follow him as he hands out some fresh apples to a group of nearby children. Here, he smiles at them. You all seem hungry. You can take these. They take the apples from him and beam. Thank you so much, mister! One of them grins. You're very welcome. Never be afraid to ask if you want a snack. Me and my wife are more than happy to share what we have. The children rush off from their newly the children rush off with their newly acquired snacks, laughing and playing. Arden watches them go and wipes his brow. Looks like someone's starting their good deeds early today. Arden looks back towards the voice. Oh, good morning, Mr. Bailey. He greets the newcomer. I was just about to stop by. You said you needed help fixing your fence, right? That's right, the older man replies. Dog ran clean through the wood the other day. Guess it must have been rotting. Just need to get a couple of the planks replaced. Not a problem. I'll fix this for you right now. You know, young man, one of these days you should start charging for your services. Me and my wife think it's ridiculous that we refuse to ask for anything in return. Oh, no. Arden shakes his head. I couldn't do that. I'm happy to help, truly. Besides, there's nothing I could possibly ask for. He continues. Eleanor's all I'll ever need. You and that girl. You've got to be some of the most kind-hearted people I've ever met. But surely you have more than her. How's your family? Arden rubs the back of his neck. question doesn't have a simple answer. I don't even remember my mother's face. I've been alone for as long as I can remember. That is, until I met Eleonora. She's been all I've ever wanted and needed in life, he asserts. She's my family. I hope one day we can grow that family too. Just one kid or two. They could amount to more than I ever did. He gets a distant look on his face. But only time will tell. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ramble, Mr. Bailey. No need to apologize. You've certainly got some high ambitions for someone living a farmer's life. But it's admirable. How about this? I wanted to drop off a basket of citrus to Mrs. Miller, and then I'll stop by your house to fix that fence, Arden suggests. Oh, that's fine by me. I'll leave you to it. Take care, Arden. I'll see you later. With that, Mr. Bailey leaves. Arden continues with his duties throughout the day. You watch him deliver the citrus to one of his neighbors, repair a wooden fence, harvest more crops, and tend to some farm animals. Overall, he lives a simple life. Eventually he grows tired, and he walks underneath a tree to take a breather. You follow him into the shade and hesitate for a moment. Is this really how you used to live? He stares past you. You didn't expect an answer, but you wish it happened regardless. You seem so happy, you note sadly. I'm sorry, Arden. I wish you could have lived like this forever. He continues to stare past you. But that doesn't mean much for you now, does it? You watch as Arden pushes himself back to his feet. Alright, time to head home. Arden begins to walk back toward the house. You follow closely after him. There's nothing else to do but follow. Just fields for as far as the eye can see. Endless sky. With a distant horizon. You enter the house and suddenly feel yourself swaying on your feet. You feel as though you're moving a great distance, despite spell being in the ground. You grab the doorframe to brace yourself as your mind reels. The sky outside darkens, and you watch before your eyes as the room darkens too. The house looks like a mess. There's dishes piled up on the counter. Arden sits alone at a table in the far corner. A single candle flickers in its center. He stares at it with a hollow gaze. You realize you're in a new memory. There's only one other object on the table, and it appears to be a bottle of alcohol. It's half empty. He continues to stare at the flame as it flitters atop the candle wick. You watch as he slowly lifts his arms and sets them on the table. You see his lips quiver as his eyes glisten more and more. He suddenly lowers his head into his arms, and you find it hard to watch as the man begins to violently sob into his sleeves. Please, please come back. I don't know what to do without you. You struggle to swallow back your own oncoming tears. As Arden continues to weep, you walk forward and gently place a hand on his back. He doesn't acknowledge your presence as he continues to plead. Please come back, Eleonora. I'm so lost without you. This scene's too much for you to bear. It's all you can do to keep yourself from weeping as hard as Arden in this moment. You tear your eyes away from him and sprint for the door before you lose the ability to breathe. What? Arden? Your brow furrows as you examine the scene before you. You stand near a cliffside that overlooks the sea. Arden stands at the edge of this cliff and looks into the distance. These memories are bleeding together. You don't feel like you're in control of this journey. You're simply along for the ride. You observe him in the view from afar. The sun is rising on the horizon, its rays refracting off the ocean and causing the water to sparkle like stars. The sky's a painted pastel orange color that turns into a faded midnight blue further away from the sun. You glance back at Arden as he stares onward with ragged breath. He simply stands on the cliff, watching the sun slowly creep higher and higher above the skyline. You watch as he slowly lifts his arm up and reaches toward the horizon. He stretches his fingertips out, attempting to capture the image in his palm. With each grasp, he reaches out further and further, until— Arden! You hear your scream echo for miles as you surge forward, but you suddenly find yourself unable to breathe as water fills your lungs. Arden! You drag yourself across the riverbank as you sputter out water from your throat. You take a moment to cough and recover from your near-death experience. You groan as you finally take a full breath. You grunt as you push yourself to your feet and look around. You notice Arden washed on the shore at your side. Arden! You rush to his side and try to shake him awake. He's unresponsive. You stare at his face in abject horror, before his form suddenly is consumed in light. You stagger back and cover your eyes, the blinding light forcing you to partially turn away. As it dies down, you turn back to see Arden's chest suddenly rise. He rolls onto his side and chokes up salt water. He gasps for air as though he hadn't breathed in quite some time. When his eyes finally open, they're charged with an arcane glow that you recognize. It's the same glow Arden possesses when he channels his magic. It fades slowly as he gasps in breath after breath. He places his hand over his heart, as though he were trying to monitor his breathing. I'm alive? How am I still? He looks at his hands, turning them in and out as he ensures his reality isn't a dream. What happened to me? He asks himself. I don't know. After a moment, the man suddenly buries his head in his hands. What was I thinking? He asks shamefully. You watch Arden with a pained expression as he seems consumed by regret. You perk up as you hear the sound of rushing water. A boat slowly rolls down the river next to you. It doesn't seem like Arden notices it. Was this part of the memory? I guess I can get on it. Not much else to do. You approach the crowd of villagers as they watch Arden face off against a wolf. Arden clumsily waves his hand as an orb of light shoots out at the large dog before him. The orb misses and blasts into a tree, causing significant damage to its trunk. The wolf howls menacingly in response as the villagers yelp in fear. I've gotta start hitting those. He looks back at the villagers. Just stay behind me! Everything will be fine! The glow returns to his eyes as he raises both of his arms and tries the same attack again. This time, it strikes the monster as it lunges forward. The sudden attack causes it to yelp in alarm before frantically scrambling into the forests. Arden sighs in relief as it vanishes beyond the tree line. All right, he rubs his eyes. That takes care of that. He examines a damaged tree from one of his attacks. These powers seem incredibly strong, even if I have no idea what I'm doing with them. Maybe... Our hero! The villagers exclaim. Eh? He looks back at the villagers in confusion. A villager rushes to Arden and grabs his hands as the others cheer. You saved our lives! Thank you so much! Of course, he nods softly, but there's no need to thank me. He looks down at his hands. In reality, you should be thanking Unity. I act in her name, for it is her power that I use. That's incredible, the villager mutters as the others whisper among themselves in awe. A symbol of Unity's will. This is a momentous occasion! Please, you must let us prepare a feast in your honor as a way of showing our gratitude. That's really not necessary, Arden starts, but they've already begun rushing off. And they're gone. All right. He watches them go before slowly backing against a tree and sliding down to sit in the dirt. You follow his lead and take a seat next to him. What am I doing? He asks himself quietly. You're doing good. I am thankful for Unity's blessing, he admits. But I don't understand it. He gazes up at the sky. I'm grateful for your blessing, Unity. And as such, I vow to forever serve your divine will. But why didn't you save her life over mine? She didn't deserve to leave so soon. She deserved better. You watch him in silence for some time as he ruminates. Eventually, he shakes his head. No, I'm sure you must have had your reasons, even if I can't understand your grand design quite yet. One day it'll be clear for me. I'm sure of it. He stands up. Until then, I'll use this gift as you intended me to. I'll do good, and I'll help anyone I come across. It's what Eleonora would have wanted. In the distance, you hear a voice calling for Arden. Stranger of Unity! The feast will be ready soon! Are you coming? Yes, I'm on my way! He answers before rushing off. You begin to follow him. However, you suddenly start to feel incredibly dizzy. You grab your head as your vision blurs in and out, and the world begins to fade away from you. No! You grunt. Not yet! I still need answers! You stumble after Arden, but his form vanishes into the trees, and the trees vanish into nothingness. Everything goes black. You open your eyes to pitch darkness. You blink a few times, but the darkness remains. You try to focus on some details that discern where you are, but your efforts are in vain. You feel like you're conscious. There's a heartbeat in your chest and air flows in and out of your lungs. So how come you can't see? You hear a loud grunt and your body begins to shake. What are those tremors? It's as though the ground beneath you is rattling. Your hands feel hot, as though they're burning. What's going on? The sound of rocks grinding together echoes in your ears. You feel small pebbles hit your arms as the ground shakes yet again. You hear a war cry as rocks suddenly blast apart around you. You see a set of arms that aren't your own pull yourself out of the wreckage. Realization hits you. Somehow, you're watching the world through Ellis's eyes. Ellis drops into a low stance as she barks at the empty streets fairly. Alright, who buried me under there? I'll destroy you! She glances up at the sky. Not a single ray of sunlight punctures the thick veil of clouds that obscures the entirety of Erewhon. She glares at the swirling air maelstrom raging above her head. Ellis, can you hear me? She doesn't react as you call her name. She brushes pebbles off of her and shakes out her mane of hair, grumbling as she looks around. Stupid vestige, stupid hurricane, stupid rocks. You frown internally. You really are moving like a spirit. You aren't fully certain how this is possible, but you suppose that's the least of your worries right now. Rex! Ellis starts to shout. London! Vincent! Where are you guys? She scans the area, but is met with nothing but the sounds of howling winds. Ugh, she groans. Of course, it's never that easy. She grimaces and brings a hand to her chin. That guy. I took out the three of us in an instant! But I remember Rex was still standing when I blacked out. Must have been the last one to go down. Her body relaxes. Hopefully he's still okay. Ellis perks up as she notices strange, arcane creatures round a corner at the end of the street. Her brow furrows as their strange glowing orbs for eyes spot her. What the heck? What are those things? She looks around at the storm. They must be the byproducts of the hurricane Arden made. The magic elementals approach Ellis as she reignites her hands. She glares at them as they all approach. Alright, you stupid wind monsters. I just got one question for you. They close in as she readies her fists for a fight. Where the heck is my moron? Whoa. This looks bad. But it also doesn't seem like I'm the one necessarily in control. Is this Ellis? It is Ellis. I'm watching Ellis beat the crap out of monsters. This is interesting. Very interesting. Can't believe I forgot how crazy strong Ellis is. She really is a tough cookie. Must be hard for her to see through this hurricane. Someone help! Alice skids to a stop as she hears a cry for help. Her head pivots around until she spots a short girl backed into a corner by several elementals. You recognize her as Leia from the Gale Striders. Alice grits her teeth. She hesitates for only a second, then suddenly bursts the swarm of elementals with her flaming fists. Fire consumes the creatures as she relentlessly brawls. Mercilessly, she forces the strange entities to dissipate into thin air before they can lay a hand on the poor Gale Strider girl. When the last of the elementals cease to be an issue, Alice wheels around on Leia. "What the hell are you doing out here?" she barks. "You got a death wish or something?" Leia suddenly gives Alice a relieved hug. Thank you so much for saving me. I thought I was done for." You feel Alice's face heat up in embarrassment. Yeah, don't mention it to anyone. Ever," she says. "Leia!" a voice calls to Alice's right. Alice and Leia turn toward the voice to find Solus, Somber, Arthur, and several of the other Gale Striders running toward them. "There you are!" Arthur heaves a relieved sigh. "I was worried you were lost to the storm." "Oh, brother," Alice groans as she stares at Solus and Somber. "Not these two again." "Greetings, Alice!" Somber announces. "It's been quite some time since we've had a chance to speak with you!" "You know this woman, Somber?" Arthur asks. "Yes, she is one of Rex's close acquaintances! She has a fascinating magical ability as well!" "Okay, that's enough. What are you guys doing out here?" Alice interrupts. "I asked them to come with me," Nebula chimes in. She flies out from behind Solus's large hat and reverts to original size. "We've got a problem." "Oh, really?" "I don't mean the storm," Nebula quips. "I mean the vestiges." "What about them?" Alice narrows her eyes. "I think the hurricane scattered them across the city. I sense their presence is scattered across the storm. We've been trying to get them, but we haven't gotten much luck." "We aren't fighters," Arthur nods. "Only one that can hold their own is Solus, and she's starting to wear out." Solus nods tiredly. "My magic is storm magic. It's not that effective here. It takes twice as much effort to spell just one elemental." "Of course," Alice grimaces. "Of course I'm the only one that can do something about them." "I got sucked out of Rex's pouch," Nebula continues, "and my power's already spent. I'm just a glorified compass at this point. I can't do much right now." "When can you?" Alice rolls her eyes. "But fine, whatever. I'll clear the way so we can get those vestiges." The Gale Striders are stunned as they glance at one another in disbelief. "Wait, really? You're serious?" "Why wouldn't I be?" "You hate helping people. I don't know you that well, but I know that much is true." Alice scowls at Nebula, but after a few moments, she sighs. Rex wasn't afraid to blaze the trail others needed to follow. So why shouldn't I do the same, huh? "Rex, do you know where he is?" "No, but I'm gonna find him, no matter what. He's out in this storm somewhere, I know it. Until then, I'll just do what he would do." And he'd go for the vestiges. "So Nebula, take us to one." "All right, yes ma'am." Nebula nods. She shrinks down to her pixie size and floats to Alice's side. "This way. And look out for those elemental thingies." "You don't have to tell me twice," Alice murmurs. Nebula and the Gale Striders are here. If they're here, maybe they can do this. Alice is crazy strong. That fire magic she has is no joke. I think she could burn down all of Heroin if she wanted to. It is a good thing she doesn't want to. What is that? Is that a vestige? Nebula flies over the vestige and points down at it. Here it is! Looks like the monsters were guarding it. Huh, Alice murmurs. Well, whatever. Hours now. However, as she reaches down to try and take the vestige, it begins to shimmer and lift off the ground. What's it? Whoa! She stumbles back as the vestige suddenly hovers straight into the air. It slowly stops its descent around her eye level, before spinning violently in place. As it revolves, a bright beam of light suddenly fires into the air, forming a piercing beacon of pure energy. What the heck? Alice squawks. She tries to grab the vestige, but it zaps her hand away. Ow! Why can't we grab it? Pretty light. Solus's eyes dilate. So this now! Don't touch it! Somber tells her. Interesting, Arthur considers. I've never seen power like this before. I wonder what it's doing. What is it? Alice demands from Nebula. She shrugs in confusion. I don't know! How would I know? Oh, you're useless. Well, I don't care. This has to be happening for a reason. There's a good chance it's gonna stop the storm. Why else would these elementals be guarding them? And what about the others? I'll handle it myself. But those spirits could come back for this vestige. Hope you enjoyed your break, because you're gonna have to defend this thing. Don't let anything happen to it. Alright, we'll stay. We'll make sure it remains unharmed. Good. Alice rubs her head in frustration. I hope Rex is okay. He's fine. This is Rex we're talking about. Now sit tight and wait for those clouds to clear. The vestiges. Why are they acting like that? I sure hope that doesn't prove to be an issue. Why now? Of all times. I'm a bit worried. I won't lie. Maybe everything will turn out okay. Wow, Alice is crazy strong. Where is she headed to now? Is that Penelope? And Harper and Roman. Penelope sighs as the last of the air elementals are dispatched. Are you both alright? She glances back at Harper and Roman. Fine, Penelope. Thank you. She considers the sky and shudders. This power. It's the strongest thing I've ever felt. It's filled the entire city. She grimaces. This is the kind of magic Alden always warned about. That doesn't matter. Alice crosses her arms. Forget about Alden. They think that anything powerful is inherently bad. But it's not power that's the issue. It's how you choose to use it. Penelope raised an eyebrow. You speak from experience? At this point, I've heard it all, Alice says. She holds up her fists. I use my power to beat up people all the time. Which, in hindsight, wasn't the coolest thing to do. But people like Rex, he used his power for good. Now I guess I'm trying to do the same, which is really weird, she admits. But Rex isn't here to do it himself right now. Yes. I know you're right. I'm just stressed, that's all. I've never seen anything like this. It's jarring. Tell me about it. Alice massages her temples. Hard to imagine that a while back I would just sit on a pirate ship and worry about a number one, myself. Now, here we are. You're Rex's magic teacher, right? Have you seen him? We haven't, Roman chimes in. We've been preoccupied here with the elementals and escorting the students to safety. Crap. Is Guy okay? He better be, Alice says through gritted teeth. Have you guys seen a vestige around here? What is a vestige? I've never heard of such a thing. Oh my god! Alice throws her head back. I thought you helped get one! It's the weird glowy artifact thing we've been collecting. Oh, then yes, I have seen one. But we couldn't get close. It was surrounded by elementals. No problem. Let's go. Go? Penelope blinks at her. Hang on a moment. Roman and Harper aren't fighters, but you are, aren't you? So you can help me clear the area. Or you can sit back and let me do all the work. Doesn't matter to me. But I'll need the extra hands once we get that thing active. Active? Roman raises an eyebrow. Come along and find out. We don't have time to chit-chat. Where's the vestige? Penelope points to her right. This way. It looks like they're all ready to move. Second vestige then. There's so many. How's Alice gonna find them all? It's fine. I made the mistake of underestimating Alice once. I don't think I'll ever do that again. The storm looks crazy dangerous. Hope everyone's okay and no one's hurt. At least my friends seem fine so far. I'm glad Penelope and Harper are okay, and Roman's with them. The lake looks like it's into stress. Alice really is crazy strong. Is that a vestige? Alice pants slightly before wiping her brow and straightening up again. Okay, all clear, she calls back to Penelope, Roman, and Harper. Get over here. The three walk over to Alice and observe the area cautiously. What if more come back? Harper asks. They might, but that's where your teacher comes in. Alice motions to Penelope. We gotta defend this thing, no matter what. Check this out, Alice says. She kneels next to the vestige and reaches forward. It reacts as the last one did, suspending in the air as it spins rapidly. It produces the same beacon of light that cuts through the storm above. Penelope's eyes widen. Oh. Fascinating. It appears to be some sort of conduit of raw power, but I've never seen an artifact that produced that amount of energy so effortlessly. How did you know how to activate that? Penelope asks Alice. A fairy told me. But that's not important. You need to guard this thing. She motions to the vestige. Not sure what it does yet, but I think it's the key to stopping the storm. Penelope takes in this information and slowly nods. All right. I swear I'll keep it safe. As long as you ensure Rex's safety when you find him. He's one of my favorite students. I don't know what I would do if I lost him. Don't worry. He'll be fine. He's made of thick stuff. I'll bring him back safe and sound. Good luck. Alice gives a two-fingered salute to Penelope. We'll stop this storm. I gotta run ahead and find the next one of those artifact things. Be careful. I have a feeling this storm will only get worse. Yeah, you're telling me. It'll be fine. I've seen worse. Alice, I can't believe you're going through this much. Just for us. You really have changed, haven't you? Why isn't she throwing fire anymore? This doesn't bode well. She's breathing heavier too. She's just punching these things now. Alice, you okay? Alice grunts as she rests her hands on her knees. The elementals corner her, and her flames begin to waver. It's just my luck. She growls as she tries to muster as much fire as she can in the face of impending doom. The veins on her body bulge as she tries to squeeze out just a drop of more magic. Come on, Alice! Rex wouldn't just throw in the towel. He'd keep fighting until he was out cold. I'll beat you freaks with my fists if I have to! The elementals rush toward her as her fire begins to go out. A gunshot rings out. The elemental in front of Alice jerks to the side as a bullet lodges into its form. Alice blinks in surprise as she looks to her left and sees Ren holding up her revolver. Ren! Out of steam already, Alice. Don't worry. We'll take care of the rest. Get him, ladies! Several sirens rush the elementals and pounce on them. Aisha slashes one to nothingness with her saber, while Jalen teams with Winry, wielding a frying pan to dissipate another. Alice sighs in relief. You're late, she murmurs to Ren. Is that any way to say thank you? Ren raised an eyebrow. I'm surprised you even needed our help. Alice, I knew would have torched half the city by now. Ren's expression shifts. Listen, I'm not gonna pretend like I care about this place. I came to find you and ask if you wanted to try and bail while we can. Alice's expression shifts. Sorry. No can do, Captain. A member of our crew's in trouble. Ren's eyes widen. Rex. Where is he? Your guess is as good as mine. But I'm going to find him. Since when did you care so much? A crewmate in trouble. Yeah, I care, but you? Alice gives her a serious look. Rex is the strongest one we've got. We're not gonna get out of the storm without him. And we can't just leave the city to its own devices. You actually care about this city. Hey, I didn't always. Then I started living a new life here. I can't see my new home get destroyed. And I can't leave Rex out here to face this by himself. I promised I'd have his back, and I'm not gonna break that promise. He made me a better person. It's time to prove it to more than myself. Ren stares at her, impressed. Slowly, a smile forms on her face. In that case, why don't you let me back you up? Like old times. I thought you'd never ask. Where to now? Ren asks. The remaining sirens walk back to join the group. I'm trying to find these artifacts. They got scattered around the city. We gotta activate them. And on the way, I have to find Rex. Alright then. Why don't you lead the way and we'll help escort you before you pass out? I'm fine. But thanks. Come on! She was pushing on. She's not giving up. The crew's here. Did Alice really mean it when she said I inspired her? Because I think the truth is, she inspired me too. I think I'm only somewhat as strong as she says I am because of her. I hope she never sells herself short. I'm flattered she's not giving up because of me, though. That makes me proud. Is she looking around for something? She found it. Ren glances down at the vestige as Alice activates it. Jalen's tail begins to sway excitedly as it lights up the sky. Whoa! That's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Let's destroy it! Not possible. Don't even touch it. Ren, I know you're my captain, but I need you to guard this vestige. And also, not steal it. It's important to this city. It's important to us. Don't worry, Ren assures. I'll look after it. But what about you? Alice remains quiet. Ren continues. It's not over for you, is it? It's not over till the whole crew's back together. I have to keep going. You sure you have the strength for that? I have to. Because I'm not gonna stop until I find Rex and bring an end to this damn storm. Alright then. Don't let me stop you. You've got this, Alice. Both of you do. As Alice begins to leave the sirens, you feel your vision darken once more. You've got this, Alice! I believe in you! You open your eyes once again as the world begins to fade into view. You're standing in the castle halls, although they're in much more pristine condition than how you left them. It seems you're back in Arden's memories again. You shake off your confusion as you notice Arden standing nearby. The man observes the decor and nods politely to some maids before pausing at two sets of doors. You recognize these doors as leading into the throne room. Arden takes a deep breath. It's just a meeting, Arden. You can do this, he murmurs to himself. Arden pushes the doors to the throne room open before taking a few tentative steps forward. Within, King Darius sits upon his throne with his head held high. You blink as you recognize the various other Starseekers also standing in the hall, all of them flanking the seats and observing Arden carefully. Arden kneels down before the king and lowers his head. Your Majesty, thank you for the invitation. It is my honor to speak with you. There's a moment of silence before Darius laughs. Why does everyone do this? Come on, there's no need to bow. Please, stand up. Arden awkwardly chuckles as he slowly raises back to his full height. They speak of your whimsy and heroin, but I never expected the rumors to hold true. If we're talking about rumors, then why don't I share a couple that I've heard about you? Darius raises an eyebrow. Arden Damaris. They say you have an incredible gift, and you've been using it to do good across all of Erewhon. Arden puts his hands up. I swear it's nothing so grand. I've just been doing my best with the abilities I've been given. These abilities, they say, are blessings from Unity herself. Is that true? It is true, Arden nods. Really? Your afterlight was blessed, allowing you to defy death itself? Yes. Darius raises his eyebrows and glances towards Zion for confirmation. Zion crosses his arms and nods. Yep, he's serious. Remarkable, the king murmurs as he leans forward in his chair. Forgive my intrigue, Darius continues, but I never thought in my lifetime I would see living proof of Unity's action. And, trust me, I've seen plenty in my years. He steps down from his throne to stand before Arden. You are possibly the most impressive person I've ever met. A real hero. A chosen. Of the goddess herself. Arden shakes his head. I wouldn't go that far. I'm just an ordinary man. The praise isn't necessary. He rubs the back of his neck. In fact, I'd imagine that I'm doing what anyone would do in my position. Do not undersell yourself, Arden, Darius tells him. There are plenty of people who would take your gift and use it for nefarious purposes. The Star Seekers in the room all cast a glance at Zion. Zion blinks at them and chuckles sheepishly. But you're not like that, the king continues. The fact you couldn't even think that someone could do evil with the abilities you have proves the purity of your heart. And you believing you're nothing special proves that you are. Darius places a hand on the man's shoulder. You are truly a Valorant of Unity. A Valorant of Unity? Arden asks in confusion. It has a nice ring to it, huh? Darius grins at him. It does. But what does it mean? It's your official title, the king tells him. Welcome to the Star Seekers, Arden Damaris. Arden shakes his head. Me? A Star Seeker? No, I couldn't. Too bad. The king claps him on the back. You're a Star Seeker now, whether you like it or not. You're far too special to be considered ordinary. You'll be well cared for in this castle. After all, a hero like you deserves nothing but the best. And the best is what Erwin strives to provide for anyone and everyone in REM. The remaining Starseekers straighten up and begin to leave the throne room. Each of them pass by Arden with a smile. Welcome aboard, Alexander says. Let me know if you need any help adjusting to the role. I look forward to working with you, Ambrosia nods her head. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, sir, Bastion says. Perhaps we may speak more over a cup of tea. You're pretty cool looking, Zion comments. And you're telling the whole truth about your powers or whatever? I have a feeling we're gonna get along. You're heroic. Perhaps a bit naive, Freya states. But you seem responsible. We could use more responsibility in this group. The other Star Seekers leave Arden and the king in the throne room. Darius waves Arden away. You're dismissed as well, Arden. I look forward to working with you in the coming days. Thank you, Your Majesty. Please, call me Darius. Oh. It's impressive. I guess I should leave now then. Is Maya in his room? You look around the bedroom curiously. Is this how people sleep in the castle? You start to wonder why Vincent would ever want to leave. Your attention turns back to Arden as he familiarizes himself with his new room. He rubs his hand across the bed sheets. He's dressed in the attire you recognize, although he holds his celestial cloak under his arm. So soft, he comments. I guess this is what luxury feels like, huh? Still, he doesn't look entirely satisfied. All this newfound opulence, and none of it really matters to me. He sits on the edge of the bed and looks at the ground. I was fine with my simple farmhouse. I was fine harvesting crops and doing errands and chores for the neighbors. This elegance, it's unnecessary. He holds up the cloak in front of him. I'm a star seeker. I live in the Palace of Erowin. I wear the finest clothes and eat the finest meals. He falls back in his bed. But I'm in purgatory. I didn't need any of this. I don't even know why I have this position. The other star seekers belong here. They worked hard and they possess their own gifts that prove their capabilities to the king. But I was chosen for this. I was given this power, and I still don't know why. He stands back up and slips his cloak on. It looks proper at first, but he shrugs one of the shoulders off lazily and sighs. Unity, why are your designs so obscure? I know you must have a plan, but I'm still waiting to see what it is. He stares at the door to his bedroom. I suppose I should get to work. I don't want to leave this kingdom waiting. He starts to leave, but before he does, he takes a picture frame out of his pocket and sets it down on the desk near his bed. You look over his shoulder to observe the picture. It illustrates Eleonora. Her smile is so bright and happy. Arden stares at the picture quietly, before gulping and putting on a smile of his own. There you are, my dear Eleonora. That way, I can see you every day. And with that, he sets off to work. Whoa. Oh, that's not gonna... I'm not gonna get used to that. Okay. Oh, that's him. Arden sits at the long table in the Starseeker chamber, with a stack of papers next to him. He has one particular parchment in front of him, which he works tirelessly on. Crickets chirp outside, and you can see the stars from the balcony doorway. Some chatter sounds from the hallway behind you. You glance back and notice Ambrosia and Zion walking through. Ah, come on, Zion smirks at her. You're gonna say yes one of these days. Unlikely. I have more important things to attend to. More important than dinner? Ambrosia and Zion glance at the Starseeker room and notice Arden hard at work. Zion's eyes light up. Well, if it isn't the Valorant of Unity! You just got the job and you're already hard at work? Arden jolts in surprise. He glances back at them and puts a finger to his lips. Shh. Quietly, please. He motions to the chair next to him. You notice Alexander sitting at Arden's side, slumped over and fast asleep. Whoops. Sorry. What are you working on? Prince Alexander and I were drafting some plans for a refurbished Cathedral of Unity. We've been reviewing ancient teachings to create modern customs within the city. You know, you can just call him Alexander. Or, Alex, Zion points out. Also, I wasn't serious when I said the whole just got the job and already hard at work thing. I swear I'm about to be surrounded by people who have no idea how to take a break. You know, you should try it sometime. I'm convinced Ambi here to step away from her work and do something fun every now and then. Life's so much more interesting when you take some you time. Ambrosia sighs. Of course, nothing gets done if all you do is have you time. Yeah, I got it. It's all about the balance. He waves his hand. Here, how about this? You two drop the work for a couple hours, and I show you some fun stuff to do around the city. Come on! The night is young. It's time to live a little. Ambrosia sighs. Fine, as long as it gets you off my case. What about you, Arden? You've been working hard. I suppose I could take a break. Great! Zion says loudly. Ambrosia and Arden both frantically shush him as Alexander stirs in his sleep. Zion continues quietly. Great. I have just the place. Come on, follow me. Zion ushers them all out of the room quietly. Huh. I guess they didn't always work. Whoa! What? Is this The cathedral. Oh, is that Bastion and Freya? You walk across the polished marble floor of the cathedral to approach Arden, Freya, and Bastion. Arden points around the cathedral excitedly. Once the sanctuary's construction's done, we can move to the confessionals back over there. I've also been speaking with the new High Priestess, Reyna, about adding some scriptures to the weekly prayers. Admittedly, I was nervous as to how my first impression with her would be, but I believe we're kindred spirits. You seem to get along quite well, sir. I would say you're adjusting to the kingdom life rather quickly. I am inclined to agree. I've been doing my best to truly deserve this title, Arden says. I've been going to the vault and hand-polishing each of the ancient relics, the vestiges of unity, I believe. They're so fascinating to me. Of all the Star Seekers, you're one of the few who quickly integrated themselves and worked toward their goal. I'm mildly impressed, Frey admits. It's endearing to find another passionate personality in the castle. She pauses. Maybe sometime I could bring you to some of the finer restaurants in Erewhon. It would do you well to expand your cuisine, especially considering you still bring homemade sandwiches to work. Perhaps I'll take you up on that offer. But for now, I'm still trying to be the Valorant of Unity. He rubs his wrists. I can't abandon my duties of protecting the city. I have to keep working to be better. Bastion clears his throat. I've noticed your struggles against the occasional creature that enters the city's territory. I'm not formally trained, but I'm learning what I can from observing the Vanguard's training regiments. If you'd like, I may work at rectifying this. I've provided training for generations of Davenport family members. It would be no trouble to extend the training to you, sir. That would be wonderful. Thank you, Captain. Call me Bastion. I may have been captain once, but now I am no more than a humble butler to the royal family. It would be my pleasure to serve you. As the three continue to talk, you begin to wander. There's a narrative to follow. You just have to figure out where it continues. Let's see. Maybe upstairs. I just need to keep going. Oop. Oh, it was. Back in Arden's room. Is he tired? You step back into Arden's room as the man sits on the edge of his bed, clutching the picture of Eleanor tightly. He recounts the details of his day to her, as though she were standing right in front of him. The Star Seekers are all amazing. They've been nothing but kind to me ever since I came here. Zion is funny, and even if he's not the most hardworking young man, he's quite insightful. And Ambrosia's memory is so striking, it's almost scary. Bastion is an incredible man, and I cannot help but deeply respect how duty-bound he is. Freya has a cold exterior, but I think she's warming up to me, slowly but surely. And the Crown Prince, Alexander. He's a delightful young man. He's so optimistic and loyal to everyone around him. I wish you could have met them, Eleonora. However, Arden yawns. I have another big day tomorrow, he tells her as he sets her picture down on the desk. I should get some sleep. He lays down in bed, but he continues to stare at the picture. Good night, my love. He closes his eyes, and in moments he drifts off to sleep peacefully. You tilt your head in confusion and look around the room. Before you can find a way forward, however, you watch the entire room become overtaken by darkness. You glance at the darkness in confusion, before Arden gasps and sits up in his bed. Hello? What's going on? Your guess is as good as mine. You respond worriedly. Arden pulls the covers away as he stands up to wander the darkness. His jaw tightens nervously. Suddenly, a piercing light flashes before you both. Your mind is overtaken by a vision. The kingdom of Erewhon, flooded with light. Over a dozen stars fall from the sky, and ancient ruins begin to materialize around the countryside. Dozens of dark monsters growl and roar as they crawl out from the darkness. Arden's eyes widen in horror. "What is this?" he asks as he places his hand over his mouth. The vestiges appear before your eyes. They spin and hover in the air, releasing powerful beacons of light that distort the world around them. The ground quakes beneath you, and chaos ensues. Arden watches as these relics, the objects of his admiration, bring about the end of the world. A blinding light overtakes both of you, and Arden shoots up in his bed and pants. The darkness vanishes in an instant as he tries to catch his breath. What was that? Arden rubs his head in pain. His eyes produce another powerful glow that fades over time. Was that a nightmare? It must have been, right? He grimaces. Yes, that's all it could have been. The vestiges destroying the world? That's impossible. Ian takes a deep and calming breath. Pull yourself together, Arden. It was just a dream. He pulls the covers away from him and glances out of his window. But how am I gonna sleep after that? I think I need to clear my head. He slips on a coat and leaves his room. Whoa, in the woods? Alex and Arden, in a pond. Alexander and Arden glance at their clothes and weapons as they try to wipe off pounds of slime. You watch as a lumbering blob flees through the tree line and vanishes over the mountain tops. That should take care of that. Alexander grimaces as he tries his best to wipe off his sash. That slime shouldn't bother the farmers anymore. Right, Arden murmurs mindlessly. He dematerializes his sword and pulls out some of the goop from his undone hair. Bastion's training's been paying off. Alexander smiles back at Arden. Your swordsmanship's really improved lately. Thank you, Alex. Excuse me. You've been yawning a lot lately. Is everything okay? I just haven't slept much lately, that's all. Though usually if people can't sleep, it's because something's bothering them. Is that the case with you? Well, Arden cuts himself off. He hesitates to tell Alexander the truth. He considers it for some time, before eventually he shakes his head. No, nothing. I think I've just been overworking myself. I have a lot to learn after all. Alexander isn't entirely convinced, but he drops it. All right then, but just so you know, if you ever need anything, and I mean anything, you can always come to me. I'm here for you, Arden. I promise. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. We should get back and tell the farmers the good news. Are you coming? Go on ahead. I'll catch up. Alexander walks down the path, still swiping some slime off of his coat. Arden watches them go before glancing to his right and noticing a small pond. He walks over to the pond and takes a moment to sit next to it and stare into his reflection. He considers his own face before taking a deep breath and plunging his head under the water. You hear his scream past the bubbles as he releases all of his frustration and stress into the pond. You remember the situation you're in. You understand the path Arden is going down. You understand why he feels the way he feels right now. Maybe that's why you, too, approach the pond and submerge your head, screaming violently into the water, even as you sink into the pond and emerge somewhere new. Huh? It's the chamber. I'm back here. The Starseekers gather in their meeting chambers, all of them urgently bustle around the room, shuffling documents, anxiously pacing, or digging claw marks into the table. While Arden stands in the balcony and looks out toward the open skies, the other Starseekers debate animatedly. How did this even start? No one knows, sir. It's a total calamity. Reports show that ruins are popping up across the countryside. Monsters have been approaching the city's borders, and light magic is running rampant. Ambrosia looks through dozens of files. Countless people have been hurt, and villages have been left to their own devices as guards and hunters alike have been forced to retreat from the city. There are even rumors of cultist activity breaching Arrowin. No matter how you look at it, it isn't good. I think we got that part! Arden continues to stand on the balcony, his back turned to you. You can't see his expression. Our troops are spread too thin trying to deal with this. And these monsters are stronger than normal. The economy's starting to fail. Everyone's trying to buy weapons to defend themselves, and we don't have the supply for the demand. The Hunters Association's struggling to fulfill the sudden surge of bounties. We can't just leave people to their own devices, or else my job's about to get a whole lot larder. We don't even know where to begin. We have no idea what's going on, or what this event should even be called. Arden calls from his balcony. The Awakening. He turns back towards the other Starseekers and leans over the railing of the balcony. We'll call it the Awakening. Oddly fitting. Do you know anything about this, sir? Ancient magic's awakened in Arrowin. We have to act quickly and keep the citizens calm. Firstly, we'll need to lock down the city. Nobody goes in or out without explicit permission from the Vanguard. Can you handle that, Bastion? Of course, sir. I will inform Captain Lane and the Admiral immediately. We'll also need guards to watch the perimeters and ensure no monsters get through. We'll have to increase patrols near the walls and in the windswept woods. Zion, please deliver a letter to the High Priestess Reyna about the situation. She wants to hear more, and you're the fastest one present. On it! Zion gives him a salute. Alexander, try to do what you can to calm the crowds. Freya and Ambrosia, go to the registry and the king and make sure they're up to date on the situation. Try to keep the newspapers away from this until we are ready to make an official statement. Understood. You watch as every Starseeker rushes out of the room to perform their duties. Once they're gone, you turn back to Arden. His body begins to tremble as his brow furrows. He drops to the ground, his hands still clutching the rails of the balcony. His breaths sound painfully ragged. You run up the stairs to check on him. His eyes are wide in fear as he tries to calm himself down, but to no avail. No, this can't be happening. This can't be real, right? It's just as I saw it. So much of this dream has already come true. How is that possible? He runs his hand over his heart as he gulps back as much air as he can. Why? Why would Unity let this happen? Is this a part of the plan? He slowly allows his body to hit the ground as he lays across the floor, hyperventilating. Please, please answer me. I don't know what to do. I need your guidance. I'm so lost. He clasps his hands together. Please, Unity. Please. Help me. Tell me your plan. Tell me what I'm supposed to do. Tell me. Tell me why you took her away from me. Please. Why did Eleanor have to leave me? Why do I have to do this alone? I can't. I can't do this without her. You step forward and reach out a hand to comfort the panicked man, but your head begins to spin once more. You stumble in place and clutch your head in pain as your vision starts to go black. Not again! You open your eyes to an aching headache as you try to process the scene before you. The picture focuses on a blank wall. There's nothing but slightly cracked stone in your vision. You blink curiously as you peer around a corner as the wind violently swirls against the Arrowin homes. A handful of air elementals pass the building you're hiding behind, before you lean back once again. You hear someone heave a sigh of relief as the spirits vacate the area. You look to the sides and gaze at your reflection in a nearby window. London stares back at you, her headdress entirely removed. London? She scowls as she brushes her hair with her fingers. Ugh, this whole mess with the wind ruined my hair. I look like a rat. She pauses and pokes her head back around the corner. Looks like the coast is clear, she says to herself. As long as no more of those elementals come through, I should be fine. She grimaces. I have to find Rex. He was the last one standing against Arden when the storm hit. If he's not around... She cuts herself off. No, he's definitely around. Don't think like that, London. He has to be. He's the only one who would know what to do in this sort of situation. Her jaw tightens. Of course. Finding him is easier said than done. I'm of no blind misconceptions. If I get caught by those elementals, I'll be in trouble. She lowers herself closer to the ground as her tail calmly sways behind her, like a predator waiting to pounce on its prey. But sneaking around isn't new to me. I can manage. London intakes a calming breath as she ducks behind some crates cautiously. Don't worry, Rex. I'm on my way. Without another word, she begins to creep out of her alleyway and into the open streets. Is this London? What did she mean when she said sneaking wasn't new to her? London's a healer and a priestess. She isn't cut out for fighting. She needs to just find somewhere to hide. So why isn't she? Instead, she's pressing through the storm. Hopefully she's being careful. Who's that up ahead of her? As London pokes her head around another corner, she lets out a quiet gasp as she notices someone backed into a corner by several elementals. Lyle? She whispers to herself. The gravekeeper, Lyle, carefully steps away from the spirits as they float toward him. Kat frowns and tries to scare them off herself, but she has no effect on them.
Hey! Back off, you overgrown storm clouds! Take this!
Her punch goes straight through the elemental, who doesn't react to her in the slightest. London doesn't seem to notice Kat's actions. She is evidently incapable of seeing ghosts. Instead, she curses over Lyle's situation. Those elementals could seriously harm him, but I can't fight them by myself. What do I do here? Her foot scuffs against a loose stone on the ground next to her. She looks down at it and slowly picks it up as an idea forms in her mind. She clutches the small rock tightly as she glances around the corner again. When she's certain the elementals aren't looking, she throws the stone across the street into an opposing alleyway. The elementals instantly straighten up and turn in the direction of the skittering rock. London ducks behind cover and watches as the elementals abandon Lyle and Kat to investigate the loud noise.
Yeah, you better run!
Intriguing. That was no random noise. Someone's hiding here. London watches the elementals abandon the area in search of the mysterious clattering stone. Once it's safe, she emerges from her hiding place and dashes over to Kat and Lyle. Astute observation. Are you alright? Your help was appreciated, but I assure you I had the situation handled. In that case, then there's no need to thank me. I'm looking for Rex. Do you know where he is?
We haven't seen him. And we've been trying to find him, too. I mean, he's the only one crazy enough to come up with some big hurricane-stopping plan.
London doesn't hear Cat, however. Lyle glances in Cat's direction and clears his throat to translate for London. No, we've no idea where he is. My apologies. Then, do you know what's going on here? Or perhaps how to stop it? My knowledge on the situation's limited. Everything happened so fast after that portal opened above Astra Centrum, and then the storm hit. Yeah, I get the feeling.
I do know that whatever started the storm also scattered those weird magic artifacts across the city.
There are strange artifacts scattered across the city, apparently. Perhaps that has something to do with this. Artifacts? She asks as she tries to think back to the beginning of the storm. Those must be the vestiges. They got scattered across the city? I'm not sure what the vestiges refers to, but I have to go, London says before beginning to walk away. Where are you going? I have to find the vestiges. It's imperative. And maybe we'll run into Rex on the way. I know that he must be looking for them too if they got lost. Are you sure that's safe, London? We're not far from Latona Gate. It would be wiser if we made our way there and joined the rest of the city in fleeing. It's the safest option, especially before things get worse. I don't care about safety. Rex wouldn't run from a fight, no matter how dangerous it was, and no matter if he thinks he could win or not. So I'm not running away either. I was afraid you'd say something like that. So be it. Lyle starts to follow behind London. She frowns. What are you doing? I'm going to back you up. I didn't take the Graveskeeper to be a fighter. I'm capable of many things. Many that you would not be able to fathom. You say we're looking for these artifacts, correct? That's right.
I can scout ahead and look for one. The elementals don't bother me, and I can fly back and forth to help guide you.
Lyle nods before turning back to London. I will guide you. Stay close to me. All right. Let's get moving. Lyle and Cat. I guess Cat can't really see me. Neither can
So
London.
hard to see in the storm.
Cat has the advantage of not being able to be seen by these spirits.
Here, up here.
That has to be a vestige. They found one. London and Lyle look down at the vestige curiously. Is this what you're looking for?
Looks like a magic vestige thing.
Yes, this is one of them. Wonderful. Now what? I don't know. She consciously reaches out to touch the vestige. But just as what happened with Ellis, the object begins to spin and hover in the air. It releases a fourth beacon that extends to the heavens. They all stare at the beacon in shock. Ah, that is surprising. I have no idea what this means. I wish Rex were here. He'd have an answer, even if it was a wrong one. In that case, why don't you trek ahead? We may keep an eye on this beacon while you try to get more answers. Are you sure? Yes. After all, your friends have yet to be found. They must be worried about you, London, just as you are worried about them. You're right. I have to keep going. She looks back up at the beacon. Maybe the vestiges are the key to stopping all of this. They have to be doing this for a reason, right?
Thinking optimistically is all we can do. Or all you can do. It doesn't affect me either way.
You're quite lucky in that regard. I'm sorry? Pay me no heed. I jest. I will protect this light, London. Press on. Good luck. Thank you, Lyle. Stay safe.
Tell Rex I believe in him!
She is gone, Cat.
Aww.
London's risking her life. She doesn't have to. She's not even slowing down. She found one vestige and she's still going. Man, my friends are so cool. Is that Dante? As London continues to sneak through the streets, she overhears a great deal of ruckus from nearby. That's right, boys! Cast them back to the clouds where they came from! Hey, hurry up with all those crates! Do you want those goods getting damaged in this weather? Beethoven, for the love of the gods, stop sulking in the corner and help them! Her ear twitches as she peers toward the noise. She finds Dante and many of the other Silverwings fighting against the air elementals near a large cart. Dante twirls his cane in his hand and knocks several elementals away from his men. They just keep coming, Dante! A Silverwing shouts back at him. Then beat them back until they stop! London dashes out of the alleyway toward the center of their group, where most of the elementals have already been defeated. Dante notices her and raises an eyebrow. Hang on, aren't you that priestess? How the heck did you make it over here? Shouldn't you be hiding? I could ask you the same thing. Regardless, I have business to take care of. Ha! I didn't think you had the stones to come out into a storm like this. Much less when there are all sorts of monsters flying around. You've got guts. Spare me your compliments. I don't have a use for them right now. She smiles at him. What are you doing with this card? What does it look like? I'm bailing. Ah, so the coward's way out? She raises an annoyed eyebrow. It's not cowardice. It's intelligence, sweetheart. I'm making the best out of a bad situation. The kingdom's going down, so I'm jumping ship. Once I'm out of here, I'll take my chances in the wilderness. Higher chance of survival than if I stuck around. Maybe you call it intelligence. But the fact of the matter is that it's smarter to invest in Erewhon, not abandon it. What could possibly be worth investing in around here? Rex, maybe? You faced him. You've seen him fight. You know how capable he is. She points behind him. Heads up. Dante dispatches the elemental behind him without even turning to face it. Rex, huh? I believe in him. He has the ability to defend this city and stop this disaster. You're really that confident in him? That he could stop whatever's going on here? I am. Aren't you? He outsmarted you, didn't he? Dante remains silent. I'm just saying. You have a better chance of getting your profits if you stick around and help. Erewhon isn't gone yet. One man stopping a hurricane is crazy. Dante shakes his head. But, I guess... Rex is a crazy guy. Alright then. He jumps down from his cart and rests his cane against his shoulder. I like you, priestess. It's London. Remember it? Fine, London. But if I'm gonna stick around to help, I want some compensation. I'll see what I can do. She puts her hands on her hips. I'm sure I can sweet-talk some Starseekers when all is said and done. What should we do first? We need to find the vestiges. The more we find, the closer we get to finding Rex in the process. Just protect me while we go forward. Sure thing. You heard her, boys! We're getting paid big time for this one! London even convinced Dante to help? I don't even think I could have convinced Dante to help. She really is something else. A whole band of thugs. Now ready to fight for her. London's kind of a genius. A criminal mastermind, even. It's a good thing to finally have Beethoven on my side. Eesh, he's actually helping them out. she found another vestige. London reaches out and touches the vestige. It produces the same beacon as the rest. Dante's eyes widen. Huh. You know, I knew about the magic stuff, but I didn't know about that. The vestiges seem to be reacting to the storm in a weak but uniform way. I'm not sure why, but it must be important. What should we do now that it did that? I'm curious. I don't want anything disrupting this vestige. I already have some other allies watching one of them elsewhere. While I keep looking around, can you and your boys guard it from more elementals? Sounds easy enough. Why not? Good. In that case, I'll have to keep going alone. Again. You sure you don't need a weapon or something? I've got it. Besides, given your previous losses, I assume that you Slytherins would need all the help you could get. Oh, White Wolf has a silver tongue, does she? Maybe we aren't so different, London. You have no idea. Guard the vestige until the hurricane ends. For your sake, I'll make things quick. That's what I'd like to hear. You should consider joining us, Dante calls out after her. Sorry, but my allegiance belongs to someone else. She winks. Good luck. She's moving through the city almost effortlessly. She's gotta be scared. But it's like that doesn't even matter right now. She has her goal in mind and she's not stopping until she accomplishes it. London's gotta be one of the bravest people I've ever met. Are those priestesses? London continues to crawl through the city, looking to and fro for vestiges and potential enemies. However, your gaze eventually lands on a larger group of people who are being escorted away from Lunar Isle. She tilts her head curiously at this before her gaze settles on several of the cathedral priestesses at the head of the group. Her ears twitch as she tries to eavesdrop on what they're saying. Leading the citizens is Angela, Sarah, and Claudia, with some of the others trailing behind with their own cluster of civilians. Follow us! We're almost to Latona! Please don't wander off. We don't want you to get lost in the storm. London creeps over to them as they usher several of the citizens forward, but stay behind to speak with one another. Is it really true? Did the Valorant of Unity... Don't focus on that right now. We just need to get these people out of here. That's our only priority. Sarah nods in agreement. Their safety's what's important. I'm sure it is. After all, you've always been keen on helping keep everyone safe, haven't you? London? Angela shouts in surprise. Where did you come from? I feel like we haven't seen you since the incident. Then you started hanging out with the Fixer and you left the cathedral and stopped being the priestess. What are you doing here? I need your help with something. Help with what? It seems like you know how to handle yourself just fine. Angela, the storm isn't natural. We need to find the vestiges of Unity and activate them. And we need to find Rex. We can't. The best thing we can do for this city is leave. As priestesses, you should do what you can to save the city. We're not heroes. We're not like you or the Fixer of Erewhon. We can't defeat Olden assassins. We can't save this place. But we can save these people by escorting them away from destruction. London shakes her head. You're wrong. Anyone can be a hero at any moment. You just have to prove that you're not afraid to take a chance. She brings a hand up to her choker. Rex, the Fixer of Erewhon. He's fearless. And even when he is scared, he powers through it for the sake of everyone else. He points to the priestesses. You're supposed to serve the people, yes, but you should also serve the city. And you can do that by helping me find the vestiges. Then, I promise you, this nightmare will finally end. The girls all glance at one another and consider this. We could save the city and end the storm? That's right. but not if you refuse to act. So, what do you say? They look to Angela for a reply. Angela purses her lips and hesitates before banging her head. You were always a far brighter priestess than we were, London. I want to help the city. I don't want to watch it get destroyed. So, I'll be a hero. I'll stop being afraid if that means we can protect Erewhon in the name of unity. Thank you. First things first, we need to find where the next vestige is located, and London. Before we go, I just wanted to say that I'm sorry that I ever doubted you. When you first came to Erewhon, I was blinded by my jealousy, and I ended up falling for Melody's lies. I should never have let that happen. I should have gotten to know you better. Then I would have learned you're not malicious in the slightest. You're a kind soul. I'm not as kind as you think. You had every right to be suspicious of me. And while it did hurt to be isolated, even when I was seeking redemption, I could never disagree with your logic. I'll accept your apology. After you help me. Right. We'll be right behind you. Right, girls? Right. But you guys go ahead of me. I don't want to run headfirst in one of those scary flying creatures. I can keep watch. Lead the way, London. London forgave Angela? I would have never expected that. She always says that she's got things that she doesn't want me to ever know about, but she really does have a kind heart. I think she's kinder than she thinks she actually is. I should tell her that sometime. I think she needs to hear it. She's making her way through the city almost effortlessly. They're still looking for a vestige. She found it. London reaches down for the vestige, activating it and allowing it to produce another beacon of light. And the other priestesses watch this in amazement. So, this was the true power of the vestiges? Maybe. I haven't been able to figure out what they're doing yet, but I'm going to hope it's something that will help us. What if it's something really bad? Nothing could be worse than what's already happening. We'll manage. Now, I need all of you to stay here and guard it. What about the monsters? Should be fine. Just do your best to scare them off. Keep them away from the beacon at all costs. We'll do our best. Somehow. Thank you. And, Angela, apology accepted. I have to keep going now. Wait, why? There's still vestiges out there, and I haven't found Rex either. So I'm going deeper into the city. I'm not going to stop until I'm sure that he's okay. Good luck, London. Be sure to bring the fixer back safe. I don't know what the city would do without him. I don't know either. I promise I'll find him. Don't worry. She turns on her heels and strides forward confidently. However, before you can see anything else, your vision darkens once more. I'll see you soon, London. I promise. Arden sits in his bedroom, his leg bouncing up and down and his hands is laced over his mouth. He mutters to himself quietly. My dream from the start of the awakening was completely true. From the appearance of the ruins to the increase of monsters. And now it's only getting worse. He closes his eyes. Those falling stars. They must have been the people who've been falling from the sky. Now, of course, we have the Silverwings entering our country. and the rest of the kingdom's falling into chaos. He opens his eyes again. Then there are the vestiges, and their unspeakable power, and... His sentence starts to trail off as his face turns stoic. If this was truly destined to happen, then that means there was a plan, right? But what could that plan be? And how do I... He stops. Huh? Arn stands up from his desk and lays his hands flat on the table. I have to find out if it's true. In my dreams, those ruins. He rubs his head as he tries to recall the details. Venturing across the kingdom is more dangerous than ever now. But if it's truly at that place, I have to find it. He turns toward the exit of the room, grabbing his cloak and a small satchel to store some of his belongings into. He packs some essentials before striding out of the room entirely. Where is he going? Oh, bright. Am I on a cliff? What is this? Who's this? Arden strides through the grass with an uneasy expression on his face. He stares toward the cliffside and hesitates as he carefully approaches it. You begin to recognize the place the longer you stare toward the horizon. Arden's been here before. You shake your head and focus your attention on the only thing that's unfamiliar about this scene. The ruins placed at the height of the cliffs. There's an array of crumbling walls with a strange stone altar almost entirely attacked in the center. You don't recall seeing this the last time he came here. He kneels down next to the altar and uses his sword to cut some vines away. He dusts off the engraving with his hand and squints at the words. You look over his shoulder on the words written in stone. The Altar of Resurrection. A gift bestowed to humanity by the goddess, Unity. May this honor be reserved only for her greatest heroes. Every several hundred years, it will yield enough power to call upon an afterlight, to undo death itself. You feel your stomach burn as the chilling truth washes over your body. Arden's expression has never been more mortified. What? It was an accident? He echoes hollowly. I wasn't brought back by Unity, but by some worthless remnant of a long time past? You feel a chill run down your spine as the man stands very slowly. Arden pants like an enraged animal. His eyes begin to glow powerfully as he lifts his hand and blasts a beam of pure viridescent energy into the altar, absolutely obliterating it until only rubble remains. He pants as the glow fades from his eyes. He immediately staggers forward. No, no! He rests his head in his hands. Why did I do that? He glances toward the sky as the sun lowers onto the horizon. He walks towards the cliff to scream at the heavens. Unity! I know you can hear me! Please prove to me this wasn't an accident! Tell me that this isn't true! Tell me that my whole life isn't a lie! He motions back to the crumbled altar. There has to be reason, right? A meaning behind everything that's happened! You have a plan for me and Eleonora, don't you? He's met with silence. You stare at the man in shock as the words become caught in your throat. You're not sure what to even say to him. I'll prove it, he swears coldly. I'll prove that you will act. I will find the evidence of your design. I swear it. He turns back to you calmly, inhales and exhales before putting on another gentle smile. However, you can now see the pain behind it. Hello, Rex. He says as he stares directly at you. Arden? You step back in surprise. It's nice to finally meet you again. Formally, that is. He chuckles. Huh? Your eyes narrow as the world melts around you and reveals something else. Wait, that's me. That's me? What is going on? Well, I suppose that expression says it all, doesn't it? You stare between yourself and Arden in confusion. I knew you weren't just some random fan! You announce excitedly. I'm sorry for misleading you. However, I wanted to meet you as a proper equal, and not as someone you felt you had to respect or work differently around. Therefore, I had to withhold some information. Who are you, really? My name's Arden Damaris, and we are Nox Requitor. He places his hands behind his back. As you stare at him, you swear that the world around you freezes. He brings a hand to his chin in contemplation. Rex. Huh? He's one of the travelers who fell from the sky. That means he's a byproduct of Unity's awakening, as High Priestess Reyna implied. Perhaps he could be part of her plan? I'll have to test it and see for myself. If he can enter those same ruins from Unity, then maybe. I need answers. I'm catching up to the present. It's drawing close now. Arden looks up at the cathedral and crosses his arms. So, sweet Esmeralda was the assassin from Oldham that threatened London Remington's life, he considers. He stares at the front gates of the large structure, as guards and priestesses alike escort her outside. Why would Unity let one of her most devout priestesses be harmed? I was certain that she wouldn't let that pass. Instead, the only reason why London's still alive was because Rex barely managed to stop Esmeralda. He puts a hand to his head, his eyes wide with terror. The life of her most devout wasn't worth protecting? How? The Edict, the Silverwings, the Ravaged Kingdom, yet even the near death of a priestess don't force her hand? His hands fall limp at his sides. What does then? What else is there? Pardon? What are you doing down here? Arden stares into Esmeralda's stele trepidatiously. Sweet Esmeralda, Valorant of Unity, should I consider it an honor that you're choosing to visit? He narrows his eyes. Do you want a chance to get back into Oldham's good graces? Why do you ask? She raises an eyebrow. Just answer the question. I'm not answering until I know what your intentions are. Your unique interrogation tactics won't prompt an answer out of me so easily. He takes a deep breath. I know that you're aware of the existence of the vestiges of Unity, and I know you're still interested in seeing this kingdom fall. He places his hands behind his back to hide their shaking. I can help you recover those vestiges, so long as you never breathe a word of my involvement. She narrows her eyes. Really? You think I would fall for that? Why would you, Arden Damaris, want to help Oldham? What could you possibly have to gain from this? He lowers his head. Nothing, other than the hope that something else will stop you. She stares at him, for an extended period of time as she tries to read his expression. Eventually, she smirks. Alright, fine. It's a deal. Where do I go to next? Maybe this way? Whoa. Arden? Arden leans over the letter in the dead of the night. He groans as he scratches out his writing aggressively and crumples up the paper. No, that's not it, it says. He tosses the paper into a pile of similarly balled up letters. How do I even write something like this? Come on. You just have to tell them how to get into the vault. Put yourself into Esmeralda's shoes and... He stops and puts a hand over his mouth, as though the thought makes him sick. He leans forward in his chair. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? He looks up towards his desk and spots the picture of Eleonora. He intakes a deep breath. Just do it, Arden, he convinces himself. This is for her. Remember that. He presses on and buries his head into his work, beginning to rewrite the letter on a new sheet of parchment. I'm in the vault. Arden steps into the vault cautiously and glances around to make sure that no one else is inside before straightening up and approaching the pedestal at the end of the hall. Suspended above the pedestal is a vestige unlike any of the ones you've encountered thus far. Arden stares at it emptily as he glances between the various other relics adorning the hall. I don't want them to have every vestige, but they don't know how many there are. He turns back to the mysterious 12th vestige and removes it from his pedestal with careful hands. They won't notice if one is missing, he realizes as he stares at the magical object in his grip. And they'll take the fall for all of them being gone. No one will be any the wiser. Arden? Arden scowls as he paces back and forth in his room. They took them. Of course they did. How? He looks towards Eleanor's picture. How could Unity not stop them from taking her vestiges? She knows how dangerous those objects are. She was the one who made them. How could she permit this to happen? He runs his fingers through his hair. How long must this madness go on? How long are these villains permitted to torment our people? He glances towards a corner of his room, where the vestige rests on his desk. Fine, then. I will show her what the consequences are if she refuses to act. What? Arden? Arden flies above the ocean and stares down at the Iris trading ship below him. He scowls. This must be the ship that will take the vestiges back to Iros, he considers. With the vestige in his grip, he begins to descend. The relics of Unity are not yours to take. I won't allow them to leave my kingdom. The glow in his eyes become brighter than usual as he grips the vestige tightly in his palms. A powerful storm swirls around him as the vestige in his grip glows bright as a star and begins to transform. Dark clouds surround him and powerful winds push against the silver-winged ship. You watch, mortified, as the waves begin to steadily overtake the large ship. The passengers aboard quickly leap into tugboats as they shout at one another in a panic. Where did that storm come from? We have to get out of here! What about Dante? Forget him! I'm not trying to join the fishes! You paddle in the water as the ship sinks below the surface. The vestige in Arden's hands has become fully transformed, appearing now as the relic you've come to recognize as the awakened vestige. The man surveys the damages as the winds die down, and the glow in his eyes diminishes. He's back here. Arden speaks slowly as he addresses the prisoner. It's time for you to go free, Esmeralda. Finally. I'll ensure that your conspirator has the means to escape. It'll leave just enough information for him to help you out of here. You're taking quite the risk. You know what I'm going to do the minute I leave this cell, don't you? Her eyes widen as she grins at him. They won't survive. I can promise that. You shiver at her expression, but Arden glares back at her. I'm not worried. Someone will stop you, I'm sure of it. Your naivety will be your downfall, Starseeker. But that's fine with me. I'll happily exploit it. To the better end. He doesn't reply. Arden. Why? Why all of this? Arden leans against the wall in his room, his hand clutched over his heart. His other hand runs through his hair and tugs at his roots while he hyperventilates. All of that, it still wasn't enough? How? How is this not enough? How has she still not done anything? He bangs his head against the wall. The edict, Esmeralda, everything. How can it possibly get worse than this? He stares bitterly at the space in his room. His eyes slowly drift to the awakened vestige, hovering in the corner. How indeed. Where am I? Arden? Arden walks away from your home with a troubled expression. They managed to recover them all. Not that it's a surprise. I knew they would do it eventually. He glances back at your home. They know there's a traitor somewhere. I can't just take them back. In order to do it, I'd have to risk this city being put in jeopardy. I'd have to hurt my friends. His words get cut off in his throat. He slumps forward in misery. I really don't want to do this. His voice is hardly above a whisper. But I know I can tip Blythe over the edge. Maybe by putting things in motion, I can force myself to do what has to be done. Whether I want to or not. He removes his Starseeker cloak and walks forward, withdrawing a dagger from his belt. Remember what you're doing this for, Arden. Oh, Arden? This was during the... You watch yourself speak with Arden on the bridge. There's no way they would know about all this in Blythe. They had to have been involved from the start. And not just with the Edict, the Silverwings, and Olden, but with us too. Arden's eyes widen in horror. A Starseeker. He falls to his knees. You see the tears well up in his eyes all over again. Arden? Arden, are you okay? You rush to the man's side as he stares vacantly at the ground. Fixer. We're a family. They're the closest thing I have to friends. I could be wrong! I've just been speculating this whole time, Arden! His fingers dig into the fabric of his pants. I never wanted it to come to this, Rex. Out of everything, I never wanted things to be this way. I would take any reality imaginable over the ones we found ourselves in. Time freezes around him as Arden speaks in his own mind. Please, Understand that I don't want this. Harming them is akin to harming myself. It's cruelty, Rex. It's cruelty. I'm gonna be sick. You and Arden stand in the alleyway of Astrocentrum. Cherish the things you hold dear, Rex. You never know when you may lose them. You didn't respond, unsure of what to even say. He changes the subject quickly. What's your estimation of me? Aside from your loss, I also felt your hope, your belief, and your desire for this world to be a better place. It's why you're the Valorant of Unity. You truly believe in love and life above all else. If the world were in your hands, you wouldn't let a single person ever suffer. You're a hero. Right. You pause in place. Arden gulps as he considers your answer. A hero? Even after all of this, your occult powers can't sense an ounce of malicious intent from me. He glances toward the portal in the sky. In that case, I must keep going. I need to do what must be done. He turns back to you sadly. Thank you for assuring me I haven't lost my way. Oh. This is the Starseeker chamber. Arden? Arden stares at each of the vestiges before him. His eyes are empty and devoid of any joy. Esmeralda stands nearby, brandishing her dagger and polishing the blade. She considers him a moment, before sighing. Look, you have them all now. Is that all you wanted of me? Not quite. Get out of here. I don't want to look at you right now. Whatever you say, Valorant, she mocks him. She leaves the room without hesitating. As soon as she's gone, Arden rests his head in his hands in disbelief. I can't believe this. Did I really? His expression is numb as he looks past his fingers at the vestiges. I hurt my friends to get here, but at least I spared their lives. He glares toward the door. Esmeralda alone wouldn't have hesitated to kill them if she could, but they're alive. No matter what, I can't take a life. I won't let myself stoop so low. But still, Unity didn't even stop me. And she didn't stop Blythe. She remains inactive, letting people get hurt, letting people almost die. His hands clench into fists. That means there's only one more thing I can do. No, Arden, don't! You reach out toward him to beg for him to stop. However, before you can reach him, you feel yourself start to black out again. Your vision darkens. As you slowly begin to fade back into consciousness, you hear a faint voice repeating the same phrase over and over again. Guard, parry, thrust! Guard, parry, thrust! Guard, parry, thrust! You blink as you listen to this repetitive chant slowly get louder and louder. Your vision returns as you settle within someone else. You see a long, sleek blade before you, which your hand moves elegantly to repeat a simple movement over and over again. You continue to observe your surroundings until you lock eyes on the white gloves on your hands. Are you looking through Vincent's eyes now? Vincent pants as he lowers his rapier and wipes his brow. It begins to pace back and forth. Okay, no need to panic, Vincent. The city's just getting torn apart by a storm, strange arcane creatures are attacking civilians, and the fixer is nowhere to be found. He stops in his tracks. Okay, that sounds incredibly bad, but it'll be fine. You can do this, he promises himself. You were trained to defend yourself in moments like this. The odds may be out of our favor, but it's manageable. His grip around his sword tightens. As long as you don't do it alone. He looks up towards the sky and calmly exhales. Once you find the others, you're going to stop this crisis. You can do this. You have to do this. He glances around the area. I can't have him show me up this time. This is my moment, too. He jogs over to the exit of his alleyway and pokes his head around the corner. First things first, find him. Easier said than done, but he has to be around here somewhere. He frowns. He wouldn't let himself get defeated by these pathetic monsters. He's out there somewhere. I just have to keep looking. With that, Vincent sets off to search for you and the others through Arrowwood. His rapier remains drawn as he remains light on his toes, dashing past falling rubble and dodging out of the way of dangerous blasts of wind. Hopefully I can find someone before the storm tears the place apart, he mutters pessimistically. My Vincent now? Seeing the way he looks at the world is interesting. It's almost duty-bound. Ellis plants her feet and just blasts things. London creeps around, but Vincent... He throws himself forward. He's light on his feet. That's interesting. Well, I guess I have learned a couple of those techniques from him, so it makes sense. I wonder where he's headed. Where he even's at. Is he in the end of Astra Centrum? I thought I saw the forest that weren't too far away. Whoa, those moves! It really is impressive. I had a good teacher, I guess. Am I half as good as he is? He's dispatching them with an ease. He's hardly even working up a sweat yet. And he moves so fast. I see the technique he was repeating. The guard parry thrust. Is that the Admiral? And is that Lane? As Vincent continues through the streets, he hears some commotion coming up from up ahead. He narrows his eyes and rushes to investigate. He finds the Admiral and Lane standing back to back as they are surrounded by air elementals. Several civilians huddle behind some crates and watch the encounter go down with fearful expressions on their faces. Stay down! We can dispel these things, right, Lane? Mm-hmm. Still, as the captains try to reassure the civilians, Vincent notices more arcane creatures stalking at their side, threatening to overtake the two. His eyes widen, then he sprints forward without a second thought. As the creatures fall upon the Admiral and Lane, he lets out a cry and drives his sword into them, dispatching them swiftly. The Admiral's eyes widen. Prince Vincent? Don't just stand there gawking! You have your own problems to deal with, remember? The captains leap into action quickly and defeat their own opponents, leaving the streets devoid of threats for the moment. The Admiral sighs. What are you doing here? Your parents and your sister have already been escorted to safety. You need to follow them so they know you're all right. Vincent frowns at her and crosses his arms. Right. And how am I supposed to know where that safety is? We could guide you ourselves, but we don't know where it is either. Lane finishes. The Admiral groans and rests her face in her hands. Wonderful. Well, I appreciate the offer, but no. I'm not going to safety. My prince, if you think that for a second I'm backing down, you're wrong. If I don't help, who will? The Admiral opens her mouth to argue, but she falls silent. She glances toward the civilians behind her before lowering her voice. Thank you for your help, Prince Vincent. Admittedly, myself and Captain Lane are out of our depth, and without backup. Vincent considers this before freezing as more creatures begin to appear. He readies his weapon and curses under his breath. We'll talk more about this later. Admiral, maintain your position and keep the civilians safe. Captain Lane, extend your perimeter and focus on our new arrivals. Wait, look at that. Working with the Fixer and his friends wasn't a waste after all. What about you, my prince? I'll hold the center. Now, enough distractions! That's a massive air elemental. A series of them, too. They're really coming after Vincent. And he's still fighting. His form's amazing. He can juggle multiple opponents at once. Did they win? Is that a vestige? As the reinforcements round the corner, the creatures start to flee the scene. A vestige clatters to the ground as one of the larger creatures retreats. Lane pauses and glances at the item curiously. He tilts his head and leans down to pick it up. However, it begins to spin and glow, and before you know it, another beacon forms in its spot. What is that? The Admiral asks suspiciously. A vestige? He observes its movement. Huh. I have no idea how it could have gotten here or what it's doing, but... He gestures to the vestige. Let's wait a second. He observes its movement. Huh. I have no idea how it could have gotten here or what it's doing, but... He gestures to the vestige. This item's related to the goddess, Unity. Whatever it is whatever it's doing, you need to ensure that it keeps doing it. Considering that it's a vestige that started this, it makes sense that it would be another vestige that could stop it. Or a collection of vestiges. He smacks his fist in the palm as an idea forms. So all I have to do is find the other vestiges, and I should be able to run into the others from there. They must have come to the same conclusion by now, right? Sorry, Prince Vincent. I'm confused. Look, don't worry about it. I just need you to stay here and look after this vestige and the civilians. Do you think you can do that? The Admiral salutes him. Of course, Prince Vincent. Now that reinforcements have arrived, we'll defend this... item to the best of our ability. Good. In that case, I need to keep going. Are you sure? The Admiral asks. It's not safe out there. It may be best if you... There are more vestiges in the city. I need to find all of them. Not to mention my friends. He points back at the two captains. I'm counting on both of you to take it from here. They glance at one another in surprise before nodding. Of course, my prince. Good. Stay safe. And he presses on. Vincent. So he too is looking for me. Alice and London are in the city too. Maybe they can run into each other. With any luck. I hope the other two are still holding up okay. He was right on the money too. They too were looking for the vestiges. He rightly predicted that everyone was doing the same thing. And he's following through. What an impressive guy. He's still light on his feet. I can tell he's getting tired, but it doesn't seem like he's stopping yet. For someone with no magic, he's really good at that sword. Is that Lily Fern? Vincent stumbles through the streets as a variety of creatures battle against one another. His brow furrows in concern as he notices a multitude of darker beings fighting against the lighter ones.
That's right. Take that, weird air thingies.
What in REM? Vincent asks. He looks towards the voice and finds several familiar faces standing at the other end of the road. Lily? Lily, Fern, Blythe, the lady, and Lily's team all fight against the arcane creatures, although they don't seem to be struggling in the slightest. In fact, Blythe is opening numerous crimson portals and releasing her own dark creatures to counteract the elementals.
Blythe, I think that's enough monsters.
No way! This is starting to get good, if not a little bit creepy.
Vincent hesitates as he makes his way through the carnage. Lily!
Vincent, what are you doing here? Where's Rex? What's going on? 1 second we're trying to stop Blythe, and now the entire city is being destroyed by a hurricane.
It's a long story, but I have no idea where the fixer could be. All I know is that the vestiges are scattered throughout the city, and we're... I'm trying to find them all.
Uh-oh. That's not good. I think I've had enough of your heroin vestiges.
Vincent shoots her an unamused look. The feeling is mutual. He turns back to Lily. Why is she still in heroin? And why is she opening more crimson portals? I think it was fine after we had to close the massive one in the sky. Any other day I would remove her myself, but I suppose desperate times call for desperate measures.
She'll be fine. She's with me.
She attacked my parents with the intent to kill them.
It's not like it was personal. But for the record, I'm really sorry about that.
For the record, I don't forgive you. Blythe holds her gaze on him for some time, before she begins to lunge forward. He draws his weapon suspiciously, but she lunges right past him and grapples with an elemental that was sneaking up behind him. He blinks in surprise as the creature dissipates, and she turns to face him again.
In that case, can we all call it even?
He groans. All right, Lily. I know in the past you were less than willing to listen to me, but will you permit me to boss you around this time? Wonderful. I need you all to accompany me while I look for the next vestige. Luke and Lydia, I want you to take the front with me as we trek forward. Aiden, Fern, and Lily will hang back, providing our cover fire and ensuring that nothing attempts to flank us. I'm not sure what the lady can do, but if you have range, you can stay closer to the back to watch your guard dog. As for Blythe, stay in the middle of the group, and send on more of those monsters of yours to keep the hordes off of us. Also, so we can keep a careful eye on you.
You barely know us. How do you know what each of our strengths are?
I'm not an idiot. I've learned to be more perceptive of those around me. And their uses. He crosses his arms. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses. I'd be a fool to ignore that. So, are we clear?
Yeah, crystal clear. We'll go with you.
Good, because we have no time to waste. We have to go, now.
I guess we're going down.
Yeah, we'll follow him.
Ugh.
This one time.
Alright.
And think you could aim a little better, Fern, this time? Getting a little sloppy over there.
Hey!
Come on.
Oh.
Seems to me you know what he's doing, which is good. Alright, no, that could have been worse, Fern. Watch out for all the things flying in the air.
Yeah. I just,
Blythe tilts her head and stares at the vestige on the ground.
Huh. So it's just that easy, huh?
She reaches out to grab it, but Lily quickly intercepts her.
Maybe we just not have you touch vestiges for a bit, okay? Oh, right. That's probably smart, huh?
Vincent reaches out and touches the vestige, allowing it to hover in the air and create its beacon of light. So my hunch was right. That confirms we'll have to find the rest of them around the city. He glances back at Lily. I'll need some of you to stay here and watch this while the others try to find the remaining vestiges.
Sure, Blythe, how about you? The lady, Luke, and Aiden stay here. Me, Fern, and Lydia can keep looking around for some more.
I don't care what you do. It's fine by me. You have to keep going to find Rex and the others.
Don't worry. I get it. Look out for Rex for me, okay? I'll see you guys later.
I'm glad that turned out okay. Lily's good. Lily's safe. She's fine. Of course she could handle herself in this kind of storm. I would have never underestimated her in that regard. And at least her team seems to be helping out too. They dispatched monsters really easily. Creatures. Not out of the woods yet, it seems. Where is he trying to get to? Maybe the heart of the city? That seems like where he's trying to head. That's good. I think London and Alice were heading the same way. And if it's anywhere they should be, it's definitely there. Made it back to the main street. He's relentless. Come on, Vincent, keep going. Is that Alex? And Bastion? As Vincent continues to fight through the streets, he comes across Bastion and Alexander fighting against more of the air elementals. Bastion stumbles due to his injuries, and Alexander can't see clearly past some of the bandages over his eyes, but they continue to fight through their conditions and dispel the creatures. Alex! Vincent shouts at them. What the hell are you doing here? He rushes forward and attacks another creature before it has a chance to strike Alexander. Vincent, I could ask you the same thing. You're still injured, you moron! He shouts at his brother. Why aren't you and Bastion at the clinic? We were well enough to keep going to defend the city. What about the other Star Seekers? They're safe. Ambrosia, Zion, and Freya are all with Mother and Father. You should have gone with them. You didn't have to come out here. We're fine, I assure you, sir. Please, return to your mother and father and keep Rosaria safe. We may... Like hell, I'm going to let you fight alone. I'm saying whether you like it or not, so suck it up and get ready for a fight! Oh, Vincent. Even the Star Seekers, they're noble. He's sticking out for his friends. And his family. His mentor and his brother. Is this the same Vincent I met all those months ago? There's so many monsters, but he's not giving up. He's hacking at them. What are these moves? Vincent leaps forward and flourishes his blade as he strikes through numerous creatures at once. His movement is more crude than he's accustomed to, and he stumbles on his feet for a moment. He swipes his sword through the air to swiftly dispatch the elementals before looking back at Bastion and Alexander. Where did you learn that trick? I've never seen you do that before. It's most certainly not a trick I taught you, sir. Oh, right. I'm not sure where I learned that. It was similar to a buccaneer's technique, curiously enough. A buccaneer? He glances at his blade with interest, before realization hits him. Wait, that's like a pirate technique! Looks like someone's been rubbing off on your swordplay lessons. Shut up! He has not! Bastion approaches the vestige on the ground and activates it, creating another beacon. How fascinating. Did you know they could do that? Not until a couple minutes ago. But this isn't the first one to do it. I think all of them are like this now. I hate to ask you to stay out here, but I need someone to defend this vestige. Can you manage that? Sure, we can do it. Leave it to us. Good. I have to press on. I know in my heart of hearts now that I can't do this without Rex. No matter how much that pains me to admit. I have to find him. He narrows his eyes. So I can't stop until I do. As Vincent treks forward, You notice the world darkens once again. Good luck, Vincent. Arden. Arden stands in the balcony of the Starseeker room. You've gone through this entire narrative, so you must be nearing the end. You'll probably see yourself walk into that room any second from now. But for now, Arden's alone, considering the stars above him that glitter in the night sky. You slowly approach him and stand at his side, following his gaze in silence. Eventually, he begins to talk to himself. Of all the truths in my dreams have taught me, there's only one that hasn't come to fruition. He leans on the railing as he speaks. The truth behind the vestiges? If someone were to use them all, they'd have the power to make a wish. A wish of cosmic proportions. He straightens up and glances back into the Starseeker room. I have all of the vestiges. Now is the time I could make the wish. A wish. Arden hesitates. But what would I even wish for? He starts to walk back and forth. I could wish for Unity to act, but would she even listen? I could wish for Eleanor back. But eventually he shakes his head. I couldn't do that. I know that it would be selfish. I want her back more than anything. But heroes aren't selfish. They're selfless. He rubs his head. A wish should have more meaning than that. Instead, I need to do something else. He walks over to his wind vestige, which hovers at the doorway to between the balcony and the Starseeker room. I could cause enough harm with just one vestige. I could level the city. Surely she'd have to act then, right? He tries to straighten up and assert himself. I just have to do it. He stares at the vestige in his palm. He continues to gaze at it for some time, until eventually he just hangs his head. But I can't. No matter how hard I try to find the will to, I can't. He walks back into his seat and sits down. He leans against his palm and stares into a nearby candle. In that case, I'll just have to wait until I work up the courage for it. As Arden sits at his table, his eyes continue to monitor the flames. I hope someone else gets the wish. Somehow. Someone that would know what to do with it. He looks down at his hands. I don't want this. I want to be stopped so badly. I want this world to be a better place. I want to be with my dearest Eleanor again. You stare at the table with Arden silently. You both watch the candle flame flicker in the dark for what feels like an eternity. You close your eyes and take a deep breath. I get it now. All of it. Come on. I need to wake up. Everyone's counting on me. I refuse to stay down. Aren't you tired yet? What? I'm tired all the time. Before you existed, my life was pretty boring. Our life. Yours is much more important. You can do so much more in REM than I can in our world. That doesn't make you any less important. Think about it. If everything in life were fun, then nothing would be. I need you to exist here. We need each other. You know, you are everything that I've ever wanted to be. You're determined and brave, and you go on adventures and have fun every day. You can do anything. I can only do that because you wanted to do it first. So don't be so hard on yourself all the time, man. You and I are the same in more ways than one. And I promise, I'm not gonna let you down. I know you won't. Although, since you're the dreamer, do you mind telling me how to wake up?
Wake up. It's not going to be that easy, Rex.
Ah! Where the heck did you come from?
You took your sweet time getting to your outer conscience. I was starting to get impatient. Look, I know you want to wake up. Thing is, I don't think you'll be able to win this one. You already went down the first time. So, now that you're close to consciousness, how about I go ahead and slip in while you take the back seat? I'll win this for both of us. And
No way.
why not? You know I can.
That's not the point. I don't want you to do it. I want to do it.
You lose.
Yeah? So what? At least I'll be the one losing. Not you. It's my body, and it's my fight. If I can't win it, then I'm no hero. I don't need you to be me.
Is that so? I'm sorry, Rex, but I'm not going to let you do that. We're going to win, and the only way to assure that is by letting me out there. So I'm not going to just sit by and let you screw this up for both of us. So let's settle this like Rex.
Fine by me. What's one more obstacle?
Oh, you're gonna regret saying that.
What the? Where are we? What? What is this place? Wait, I know this place. This is the mausoleum. Why am I back here? What? You! Get out of my way! If you're the last thing standing between me and getting back out there, then you're going down! Do you hear me? Ugh! These spells are way stronger. What the heck? It just dissipated. Like magic. Is that smoke? Ah! Ah! I can fire too! Come on! Ah! Where'd he go? I just need to keep my eyes on him. He's up there! There he is! I just need to follow him. There! Hut! The smoke! Oh, that stuff's not good, but he's fine? Of course he is! That's it! Get over here! I'll just take you down myself! I don't need all your fancy tricks to win this! Who cares if you think you're stronger? I have more on the line than you! There he goes again! What? Come on. Come on! Doesn't matter how many times you strike me, I don't care! I will take you down, do you hear me? Come on, where'd he go? There he is! You won't keep me here. You won't. So long as I have a say in my fate, I will decide what I get to do with it. This ends here. Right now. You're going down. Do you see what's happening, Unity? A child almost died because of my actions. Why won't you stop me? Strike me down. Prove you have a grand design. Please! If nothing else, give me an answer! Answer me!
You're still alive?
I was about to say the same thing to you. This is the first time I've actually been relieved to see you.
Wow, that was almost a compliment. I hope you don't expect me to thank you for what you did just now.
You mean saving your butt? Don't sweat it. I did it out of the kindness of my heart. I'm just that great.
I've been finding those vestiges across the city. I'm not sure how they might help, but...
You've been activating them, right? Me too. I saw the beacons.
I did as well.
London? How have you...
I have my own devices. If we've each worked just as hard tracking down vestiges, I'd say this is the last one.
Really? Because I thought there'd be one more.
Lily almost certainly handled it. The one London has found? Must be the last one.
Then light it up and hope for the best. It's not doing anything. Don't tell me we did all this for nothing. I don't suppose any of you have seen Rex?
No. I'm not sure where or what.
Guys?
No way.
It's him! Rex!
Rex? How are you? It doesn't matter. You can't stop me from bringing Unity down to REM. Not anymore. So please. Stay down! What are you doing?
I told you I would get my revenge, Rex. This all ends here, with the destruction of Erowyn. Now, finally, let's finish what we started. Shall I have this dance?
I'm sorry, Rex. It has to be this way. Goodbye. Your friends. All of you. Bring it on! The wish. Keep going!
You can do it!
We're with you!
Go!
Rex!
Come on! Keep going!
You've got this.
We're right here with you, Fixer. Go! We're with you.
You got this!
Fixer, go!
You can do it!
It's over, Rex. For both of us. No. Just you. I see it now. She did have a plan all along. She's been acting since the very start of this whole mess. Since I first had that dream. You're the true hero. That even saved me in the end. She sent you, Rex. You are Unity's will. You know what? Maybe we both are. You and Darius stand on the balcony of the Starseeker room as you observe the reconstruction of the courtyard below. Dariuson takes a long breath before he begins to speak. How have you been adjusting, Rex? After everything? I've been alright. But if you don't mind me asking, why am I here? You glance at the man. Oh, I just wanted to chat, is all. I've had enough time to think about what you told me the day of the hurricane. The vestiges, the wish, Arden's dilemma. He shakes his head. I understand why he did what he did. Faith is a fickle thing. He relied on it to give him a purpose. Once that purpose was gone, well, what else did we have left? We needed a way to prove it was all real somehow. He turns back to you. But I didn't call you here today to talk about Arden. I want to talk about the vestiges. They're still gone, aren't they? Yes, it's as you said. Every vestige vanished from the borders of our kingdom the minute you made that wish. He lowers his gaze as he examines your features carefully. You still don't remember it, correct? Even after all these past several days? I don't know what I wished for. I'm sorry. I can only presume that you wish to stop the hurricane, or for the vestiges to be out of Arden's reach, or a plethora of other things. But the truth behind what your wish was doesn't matter. All that matters is the outcome. Those vestiges are all over the world of REM now. He looks you in the eyes. For the sake of this land, they must return. I entrust this task to you, Rex, to return the vestiges to the rightful place, and hope that we can find an end to the awakening. Why me? You're not seriously asking me that, are you? My boy, you're just like me when I was younger. Strong, capable, and guided by a heart of hope. I can think of no better person for this task. I understand. Of course, just because you have this responsibility does not mean you have to go it alone. I'm sure you have an idea of who you want to take with you, right? I do. Although I probably need your permission for one of them. Don't worry. I think the time away from Arrowwind would do him well. I may be his father, but he's old enough to make his own choices. If he wants to go out and see the world, then so be it. Okay. Any other questions before you set off, Rex? What do I do if I fail? Fail spectacularly. And in your own way. Destiny is what you make of it, Rex. Make your future a good one. Alright. I guess this is it then. I look forward to your return after you make some progress. Don't stay away too long. Return to Arrowwind as much as you can. The city will miss you. We all will. I'll be back before you know it. See you soon, then, Rex. See you soon. Several days later. I still got this insane crick in my neck. Oh man, falling straight on my back really hurt. Oh, my spore spine. Alright, I'm complaining. At least I'm in one piece. I should just be thankful for that. Oh boy, am I gonna break the news to everyone? Like I always do. With a smile on my face! You step out of the chamber and into the hall. You turn to your left. Almost immediately, you lock eyes with a set of Star Seekers crouched outside the chamber with their ears to the wall. They all stare at you like deers in headlights. Hey guys. With what he's dropping! Zion blurts. Freya buries her head in her palm. Rex, we heard your discussion with the king. Alexander confesses. Are you really going to search for those vestiges? Yeah, I have to. Then we wish you luck, Ambrosia dictates. Bastion nods at her side with a gentle smile. You're probably gonna have to say goodbye to a lot of people, right? At least until you get back. You nod. The Star Seekers don't immediately respond, instead glancing between one another warily. You tilt your head, perplexed. Is there something wrong? Not at all, Rex. Though, I suppose that means you'll be visiting Arden too, right? Again, you nod. Bastion sighs. Poor Sir Damaris. To think it all came to this. I had to walk on a cane for days because of him. You all should know something. What he did was out of love for this city, believe it or not. You explain to their watchful gazes. And out of love for you guys too. Hurting you was the last thing he ever wanted to do. He just believed the ends justified the means. I've tried visiting him, Freya confesses, much to everyone's shock. He wouldn't even look at me. Me too, Alexander mutters. You watch as all of the Star Seekers mutter various terms of agreement. So, they all visited Arden on their own time? The Star Seekers stare at each other in wonder, none of them realizing that each had independently tried to speak with Arden. This realization causes an invisible wave to wash over the hall, but you can't tell what it is. Simultaneously, their expressions harden, as if they just came to the same conclusion silently. Alexander nods to them and turns to you. Rex, could you do something for us? What? When you go to see Arden, tell him we're not mad. That we understand why he did what he did. Tell him that we wish he'd seen what he was going through before. Tell him we're sorry for not being there for him. Zion sniffles behind Alexander, and Ambrosia puts a reassuring hand on his shoulder. Even Alexander's voice wavers. Tell him that he's still our friend. Of course. You smile at the Star Seekers. I'll see you guys when I save a vestige. I'll be back before you know it. Wonderful. I look forward to your return. And if you're taking my brother with you, keep him safe. I hope you have a plan. Freya pushes up her glasses. Or if not, immeasurable amounts of luck. We'll keep them kingdom safe while you're gone. Ambrosia nods. Try not to get into too much trouble. I will prepare a feast upon your initial return. You watch as the Star Seekers all walk past you, patting you on the back or ruffling your hair as they go. Take care! Not nice, guys. This place has got an eerie vibe to it. But I'm here for good company. Hey! Knock knock! You poke your head through the bars to steal a glimpse of the man within. Knock knock! Room service! You joke. The man glances back towards you. Room service? If I didn't know any better, I would say you're trying to give me special treatment, Rex. Me? Pfft, nah, never. You tilt your head. You've decorated nicely. Or as nicely as you could, I guess. He puts his hands on his hips. It's not much, but I think I actually prefer the simplicity over the grandeur of my previous room. You shake your head. It's still your room, Arden. This is just temporary, right? You're not going to keep yourself in prison forever, are you? He crosses his arms, I did horrible things to this kingdom, and to my friends. I'll stay in here however long it takes to repent for that. The other Star Seekers miss you. They still want to be your friend. They do? I don't see how they could continue being so kind to someone that harmed them the way I did. They're truly such good souls for that. This is what I deserve, Rex. So this is where I'm going to stay for some time. You stare at the man as he looks down at the floor. Your brow furrows in concern. And for an idea emerges in your mind. You could come with me, you offer. Arden turns to you in surprise. Help me solve this mess. Together. That's gotta be a way to repent, right? It's too late for that, Rex. Perhaps one day I could be the hero this city deserves again. But not now. He considers his cell. I'll have plenty of time to reflect. And that's what I need most of all. Time. Still, he smiles. And if my friends truly do forgive me, maybe I'll accept their company and work hard to make me deserving of their companionship. You look down. King Darius charged me with recovering all the vestiges. That's why I asked if you wanted to come. He raises an eyebrow. It seems like you'll be going away for some time. Not forever. I'll come back. It's a big and scary world out there, Rex. Please be careful, and never extend your trust to someone who doesn't deserve it. I won't. I promise. Before I go, though, I wanted to give you something. Arden approaches the bars in confusion as you reach into your bag. You procure a small picture frame of a familiar face. Arden's eyes widen. I think you should have this. Is that... Arden blinks as he carefully accepts the picture. He stares at the photo of Eleonora that has always been on his desk. Someone to keep you company. I'm sorry that she's gone, Arden. But she's not forgotten. I'll remember you with her. Remember her with you. And because me and you are here now, we will make this world a better place. For her. Arden stares at the picture in his hands as tears well up in his eyes. He clutches it tightly against his chest. Thank you, Rex. Thank you so much. You nod slowly. Arden wipes his tears away as he looks back up at you with a gentle smile. You'll do great out there, Rex. I know you will. You are Unity's will in this world. You are the action that is required to protect it from calamity. You won't fail. You managed to save me, after all. He waves at you. Good luck on your journey. I'll be here when you get back. And I promise I'll see you again. Take care of yourself, Arden. Maybe I can convince him one day. He deserves a chance to make things right. And I guess this is a good step in the right direction. Just as long as he's happy. Sunlight, did I miss you? And I'm also really happy that there are multiple cells in this kingdom. I did not want to have to walk by Esmeralda's. But at least she's rotting where she belongs. And, they at least gave Arden a spot away from her. I'm glad Dante decided to come to the right side in the end. He helped us, save the city, I guess. Or something. Yeah, it's crazy how that all works out, huh? I wonder how Conrad's doing in prison, too. I wonder if he was still in there when the hurricane happened. That's a comforting thought, I guess. You walk towards the entrance of the castle and find the Silverwing speaking with Vincent at the gates. Ugh, he hangs his head. Lucky me. The other Star Seekers are still injured, so I get to deal with the Silverwings all by myself. Woo-hoo. Hey, it's not my fault that the wolf chick promises a paycheck for our help. And last time I checked, business partners don't skimp out on each other. Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. You walk next to the prince and nudge him with your elbow. Hey, you were always looking for extra responsibilities. This is kinda like shut up, fixer. Okay. Vincent turns back to Dante. Alright, I'll draft a promissory with funds from the kingdom treasury. Turn it in with the bank and... I don't think so. I like my payment in solid coin. Of course you do. Need any help? I got it. Vincent reaches into his pocket and places a single crisp golden coin in Dante's palm. Is that enough? Dante's eyes glitter. A pleasure doing business with you, little prince. Ah, time to ask my father for another gold coin. Wonderful. Vincent, wait up a sec. I actually just finished talking with your dad. What? And he needs us to go out there. Into the world. To recover the vestiges. Vincent finishes with an eye roll. He already told me. Oh! Then I'm going with you, Vincent declares. Your eyes widen as a grin splits across your face. Really? Yes, Fixer. Really. My father went on adventures across the realm. He turned into a powerful leader as a result. If I want to be half as good as him, then I should follow in his footsteps, Vincent explained casually. Besides, you wouldn't last a second without me. Like hell! Oh, please. Without any direction, you'd run around like a chicken with its head cut off. With me around, though, you'd be unstoppable. And that's what you need to get those vestiges back. Okay, fine. Rude, but fine. Chin up, Rex, Vincent smirks. We're going on an adventure, the likes of which never seen before. Touching, Dante comments. You and Vincent both turn back to him. You realize he's been standing there this whole time. Oh. You squint. You're not gonna cause trouble the second we leave, right? Me? He raises an eyebrow and leans on his cane with a grin. Why, I would never betray my loyal business partners. How could you ever insinuate such a thing? Relax, Rex. I'm a man of my word. Me and my boys are no longer associated with Olden. We're on your side. We'll keep our end of our deal, as long as you do too. Alright then. Good. In that case, see you guys when we get back. Don't stay too long, Dante salutes half-heartedly. Your kingdom needs you, or something like that. Ugh. Huh. Well, I guess we keep heading out. Let's see. Where else are we going? You and Vincent find Ellis, London, and the sirens gathered near the gate of the castle. Ren leans against the railing of the bridge and takes in the fresh air. There's something about a rich person district that smells just right. You mean because it doesn't smell like salt water? Nope. Because it smells like money. What are you guys doing out here? They glance up at you and smile. Waiting for you, obviously. What else would we be doing? You didn't think you'd get rid of us that easily after your fight was over, did you? Hey, I was just... You start to speak, but your words get cut off in your throat as you stare at London. She's abandoned her headdress completely, and her priestess coat is also gone. Instead, she wears her lavender bodice with a plain corset, armbands, and her usual long black pants that tuck into her tall leather boots. Your brain turns off. Rex, is everything okay? Yes! Ren glances at London before smirking. And I thought I was the siren here. Huh? Don't worry about it, twerp. You narrow your eyes at her before shaking your head. Never mind. Hey, Ellis, London. I had something important to ask. Of course. What is it, Rex? London's ear twitches. I have to leave Erwin to get the vestiges back. You hold a hand out. And I'll need your help. We've been an unstoppable team up to this point. I know in my heart that if we work together, we can do anything. So, what do you guys say? London and Ellis glance at one another in surprise. London begins to giggle as Ellis crosses her arm and grins at you. Was that even a question? I've told you before, Rex. Nothing ties me to this city. In my eyes, home is much more the people you're with than the place you settle. Her tail starts to wag behind her. I couldn't think of any place to call better home than with you. Oh. Wait, you guys are leaving? Not forever, just for a little bit. And we'll stop here every now and then to visit everyone, so we're not going away for good. Where are you headed first? Who knows? I haven't figured that part out yet. Wherever the vestiges might be. Ren puts her hands on her hips and mutters. And I'll just have to meet you at wherever the vestiges are. I didn't say anything. Julia raises her hand from nearby. Oh, can I come, Rex? This one might be a bit too grown up for you. Maybe next time. Aww. Then I'm gonna hold you to that. Anything else you want to do before we head out? I want to go say goodbye to our other friends. I know we won't be gone for too long, but I don't want to leave them guessing. Alright then. Lead the way. Ah, friends. It's a bright, nice Erwin day. And I have a feeling that everything's gonna turn out okay. Did you like that rhyme? I thought that was pretty good. It was... Okay, fine. Well, whatever. Let's just, find... I don't know, where would everyone be? Probably around the city. It's a little bit of a mess, so we'll have to stay away from where it is the worst. Only people have been allowed to relocate there anyway. All the debris is pretty dangerous. And I wonder how they're all doing. It's nice to see that the Star Seekers recovered, though. And recovered nicely. Uh-oh. Why did this happen? Please. Okay, there we go. Where to next? Maybe this way? We can keep going across Lavender Terrace. Walk by the front of the university. That big, beautiful building. I'm gonna miss these sights. But I'll be back before I know it. So I'm not too worried. Breathing that fresh air. Is this really what money smells like? It does smell nice. Like lavender. You walk around the damaged lavender terrace when you notice a familiar group of people standing at the university. Your gaze falls on Lily, Aiden, Allison, Luke, Lydia, Fern, Blythe, the lady, the Admiral, and Lane. Despite your previous... I'm so sorry, I forgot you. I just scared myself.
Despite your previous attempts at destroying the city, we appreciate your efforts in saving it.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that you're off the hook either. I have my eye on you. Yeah, that makes sense.
Blythe chuckles nervously. She shuffles behind Lily for protection.
Go easy on her, Admiral. She means well. Mostly. She's just troubled. I'll make sure nothing like that ever happens again. You can trust this one.
The lady smiles as she steps forward.
The king himself dubbed her the license for the Alakram Edict. Even I have no choice but to be honest about her with our intentions. As of now, our intention is not to harm the city.
Hey guys, over here! You rush over to your friends. Lily's eyes widen and she gives you a big hug.
Rex! There you are! I've been worried about you, you jerk.
Sorry about that. I had a crazy couple of days. You rub the back of your head as you both pull away. Everything alright over there?
Just a little misunderstanding, but it's fine.
Alrighty. Actually, I came over to tell you something important. I'm gonna be leaving Erewhon for a bit to find the vestiges.
They're still out there?
Man, I thought we were done with those things.
They're too dangerous to be left out in the world. Who knows what kind of damage they could cause. That's why I gotta leave. But I'll be back before you know it!
Actually, it's funny of you to say that. I might be leaving soon, too. I'm not sure where I'm going, but Blythe told me something recently. She said that Jack might still be out there somewhere.
You mean Robo-Ear Mentor Jack?
No, the other one. Yes, that Jack! I want to find him and bring him home.
It looks like we both got our work out for us.
It's not like it's anything new. What about Erewhon? How will it fare while you're gone?
You and Lane could protect it. You're both super strong guards. I know you can handle it. The Admiral blushes slightly at the compliment.
Thank you, Fixer. I suppose we'll try our best. I'll continue to make some visits here and there. After all, I still have business to discuss with your kind, don't I? Maybe I'll pop up and scare you sometimes, Rex. I'll always be watching. Always watching.
I'll miss you guys.
Well, we won't be apart forever. I know we'll meet up again soon.
And when that happens, I can't wait to mess with you more, Fixer.
Oh boy. We should probably get going. You don't want to waste the whole day saying goodbye. I think the city at night sounds like a death wish. Oh, good point. Take care, Lily. Alright, maybe we should start heading towards Aurora Alley. We really gotta hurry, according to Ellis, so maybe we should move a little bit faster. No. I do love the city. I love everyone I've met. Oh, what's the best way down? I forgot the way. I think it's this way. Ah! Yes! Okay, it is this way. Wait, is it this way? I think it's this way. But was it this way? I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I remember this place. Yes, I know the way. Oh, watch this. Hooah! I stayed off the grass and everything and did a sweet spin. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. A new adventure. Oh, this is gonna be awesome. Well, we'll ignore that. You walk through Aurora Alley and find Penelope, Somber, Arthur, Solus, Harper, Roman, and Nebula standing together. Solus excitedly blasts spells into the air. And then, I
did this really cool attack, and it went Sam! Pow! Right into the sky! And I blasted one of those monsters in the face!
Very impressive, Solus. Penelope seems distracted, however. All these repairs from that storm will take ages. Hopefully this doesn't impact my class schedule. I'm sure it'll be fine, Penelope. Don't sweat it. Everyone turns to look back at you excitedly.
Rex! There you are! How wonderful it is to see you! How did your meeting go with the king? We've been waiting for you to come back and tell us all about it, Guy.
Nebula crosses her arms.
Let me guess, by the look on your face, you're not about to sit down and take a break after that fiasco, are you?
Not even close.
Fantastic.
What did the king tell you? Those artifacts, the vestiges, are all over REM now. Given that they're the things that started the awakening, it's not safe for them to stay there. That's why me, Ellis, London, and Vincent are gonna go after them. All of them. Go after them? As in, you're leaving Erewhon? Yeah, I am. But I'll be back. She considers this carefully. How long? You'll miss so many classes and lectures, not to mention you'll have to make up the homework. Miss Tovu. Rowan placed a hand on her shoulder. It will be fine. You must calm yourself. You're right, Roman. We'll miss educating Rex. Just catch me up when I get back.
My noggin's not going anywhere.
You bonk your head enthusiastically. Oh, I just worry about you is all. The world outside this kingdom's not always the kindest. And since the awakening hasn't ended, there are countless creatures that could be lurking in the darkness.
This is Rex we're talking about, Penelope.
Harper flutters up to land on her shoulder.
He's gonna be fine.
Of course he will be. He'd better be. Yes, ma'am! Wonderful.
Aww, I'm gonna miss you, though.
Oh, perhaps that's the other way we can see in one another!
Yeah!
Maybe we could write messages in the clouds! That surely has to be possible!
You know what? We can try it. You've proven yourself quite capable. I'm sure you'll return safely. And if you do happen to find any ancient relics, not of the same caliber as a vestige, mind you, do not hesitate to bring them back to our guild hall for further study. I'm interested in seeing what history the other kingdoms may hold. Be careful. Remember your flaws and your weaknesses, Rex. You're not incapable of being overtaken, given your condition. Don't let it get the better of you. I won't. Well, I think we should get going. We have more people to say goodbye to.
Hold it right there! You didn't think you were getting away from me that easily, did you?
Huh? What do you mean?
I'm going with you too! You think you can just stay in Erewhon forever? That's not my job, little traveler.
She shrinks down to her pixie size and flies into your focus pouch.
I'm staying right here, whether you like it or not.
Are you sure? This could get dangerous, and I don't think I've ever seen you fight.
Hey, I'm plenty useful! I'm a celestial being, remember? I can help out in other ways.
Alright then, Nebula. Welcome aboard. Okay. We have to cut across the city. Maybe we could sneak our way through the intact parts of Astra Centrum. Okay, you just have to climb over a little bit of rubble. You know, that's not a bad... Oh jeez, they're still cleaning up. That's okay. Yeah, this is fine. Everything's okay. Let's just make our way over to the square. And then make our way back from there. Here's Main Street. Place is turning out okay. And no one got hurt in that storm. You know, it's strange. Even while Arden was trying to destroy the city, people kept talking about how things magically kept avoiding them. Rocks tumbled out of the way of their bodies, and things froze in the air before they could even reach them. None of those monsters even hurt anyone. I don't think deep down Arden ever wanted to hurt anybody. No matter how much he wanted Unity to come down, he never could be the villain he wanted to be.
I'm frozen again.
Oh, yeah, we're good. As you continue through the streets, you come across Angela, Claudia, Sarah, and Lyle. Kat floats near them. No one seems to be able to perceive her, except for you and Lyle. Oh, look who it is. Hello again, Fixer. Angela. You smile at her. I didn't get a chance to say it yet, but thanks for your help in that storm. I know you're not really fighters, so it was really brave of you guys to do that. Angela turns away and grumbles as the other priestesses giggle. Don't mention it. Are you doing okay, Lyle? Much better now that the storm is over. The spirits were disturbed by the weather. Spirits care about weather?
When it's magic weather, we do.
Yes. Magic weather can be quite the bother, isn't it? I feel like I'm missing part of this conversation. Just don't worry about it. I sense that you're here to give us some rather bittersweet news. Wait, what? What does that mean? Oh, right. I wanted to say goodbye to you guys. Me and my friends are leaving Erewhon for a bit to find the vestiges. The vestiges are still around? I thought they were destroyed. I'm pretty sure they're indestructible. Point is, they're gonna be gone for a while, but we'll be back soon! I just thought it'd be nice to say goodbye to everyone before we left. Farewell, Rex. May your journey bring you new topics of study in occult magic. I look forward to speaking with you more when you return. You'll always know where to find me. It's weird. I used to pray to Unity that London and you left Erewhon because you was so stuck in Melody's lies. But now, I don't want you to go quite yet. I won't be gone forever. I promise. Take care, you guys. Take care, London. Fixer. Goodbye, Rex. Kat is strangely silent as she watches you leave with a conflicted expression on her face. Maybe she's just not the best with goodbyes. It's okay. You don't pressure her, and you give her a wave before walking off with your friends.
Smell that? That's the start of a new adventure!
All I smell is Vincent's cologne. Ugh.
Why bring me into this?
Find the vestiges, bring them home, and save the world.
Sounds hard.
Exhausting.
Complicated.
Fun.
Yeah. Fun.
It most definitely won't be boring.
The most fun I'll have my whole life.
I look forward to hearing about your journey first thing after your return!
Oh, bring me tons of cool stuff!
Remember to always keep your wits about you.
Yeah, guys, stay smart!
I'll keep an eye on things while you're gone. Just for good measure.
Be vigilant.
Yeah.
And stay alive!
Bring home the money!
Never lose sight of what's important.
This city needs you. This country needs you. Do your best, and we'll be good enough.
See you soon!
I hope I don't ruin the moment by asking this, but how long is the walk? And how much of it are we going to spend walking? Because, you know, we get stuffy in that pouch, but I also can't fly forever, so... Hey, and did we pack enough food for 5 people? I get kinda hungry sometimes. Hello? Why is everyone ignoring me? I'm here too, you know?
Just fake it. I only know how to pull myself apart.
losing